Hey everyone, what's up? We are back. Survivor What If. We're here today to talk about Survivor 50, specifically episodes 10, 11, and 12. I'm your host, Richie. I'm here with my co-host today.
Hello, Richie. It's good to be back with you again. Once again, it's me, Alex Steib. We're here to talk about 3 more episodes of Survivor 50. And boy, do we have a lot of big vote offs to talk about and a lot of impactful decisions. Some of them rage based. Yeah.
I definitely want to give a couple. I'm going to give more of my general thoughts when we get to the end of it. But outside of episode 10, this is probably, I think, one of the worst stretches of episodes we've had in a while. Like, this has not been a good stretch. And even then, the only reason that in episode 10's, the only reason it ended good was just the fact that, like, it's just, there was so much good potential. And it almost got fucked up because of the whole stupid thing. But we'll talk about it because we'll actually talk about it in a couple minutes. But my general consensus on 50 is that I'm over it. I'm done with it. I knew it was going to be bad the minute they announced the cast. And all the voting, like I was like, they're already gonna fuck around with it and find out. And I was right again. Survivor Psychic. Yeah. Anything you want to say before we get into
what? See, this is why I'm here, Richie. Somebody has to be here to combat you because you're not fucking always right about everything. And I gotta say, like, as many faults as there are with season 50, and as many faults as there were in these episodes here. And yes, I can agree with you. Episode 10 was pretty decent. And then those last two more recent ones. Hank, yeah, that's what I was saying. Please, let me finish. Yeah, I agree with you. Episode 10 was okay. Episodes 11 and 12, they had some shortcomings. But I still believe in this season. And I still believe that some people remaining, have a good shot to win and a good case to win. And I'm excited to see some of these people as we get toward the end of this live stream. So it's not all doom and gloom here, actually.
It is. I'm in mourning. Anyways, so trying to think. We do have Sam who will be coming to join us in a little bit. I think he was working on some stuff or he's running late. I forgot what he told me. But so we are gonna get started then with episode 10 because episode 10 I think was a decent episode. But only because of the outcome. And I'll get to what I mean when we get to the end of episode 10 stuff. Yeah, my notes I have before the auction and challenge segment, it was such a long recap. Like, it was just the weirdest thing. It felt like such a long recap they were trying to highlight. And they're saying that Devins had the idol grab. And my thoughts were that I thought Devins was pretty much fucked going into this episode because it just came off like that with how much they were emphasizing the whole idol grab and how Christian's gone. I'm just going to say all my thoughts leading up to the auction, and then we'll talk about other stuff as that falls behind me. I'm in a different area today, so I had to set up a little prop, and it's not behaving. So this is really fun.
I do like the new setup. Yeah, the lighting looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm dog sitting this weekend, so I have to be upstairs for when the dog eventually comes in. And this stupid torch is being a little bitch. Fuck it, I'll deal with it later. Anyways, someone's gonna be laughing at that. Dan will laugh. Sorry, anyways. Yeah, I put down that Ozzy was actually playing really well. And this is a really good thing with it, is that Ozzy's actually playing this season a really good game, a lot better than he normally does. Which honestly just surprises me. Because again, coming into this season, and I said it before and I'll say it again, Ozzy's been proving me wrong the entire season. He's been playing a really great game. He's playing a really good game up to this point, playing a lot better. Like, Ozzy proved me wrong. Like, I admit it. I was wrong. Like, he played really good. He showed me up, and that's what I like. If someone can show me up, show me I'm wrong in the game, cool. Great. And Ozzy's been doing that. He's actually been playing really well, talking coherently, of a strategic game. Like, Emily, and then Emily was saying she's on the wrong side of the vote. I'm like, girl, did you not remember half of 45? Like, I put down Devin and Emily are psychos, but I mean, Emily clearly is going to be the sole psycho left. Boy, that didn't age so well. That didn't age quite so well. And I kind of even like put down, why are we hearing Aubrey right after the intro? And I put down, so random, it's giving Sarah Lucina and Game Changers for random content. There's actually a few more things for the auction, but Devin's fake idol shit, putting a big, because Devin then at one point tries to put in the fake idol thing where he, I think, reveals to everyone that it was a fake idol and it was his and Christian's scheme. And you see Joe being like, that's insane. And then like getting like really pissed off. And it's kind of one of those things where I look at it, I'm kind of like, yeah, that was insanely stupid of Devin's to do that because it just puts a bigger target on his back. Let him think you have an idol. Until you can find an idol, let them think you have an idol. Even if it's fake, they don't know that. They're going to think it's real. So them doing that just, I think, is one of the things that eventually sunk his game. But we'll talk about that later on. But Joe thought this entire thing is just... In this stretch, Joe is just such a crybaby. But before we go to the auction, the challenge, Steib, I'll pass off to you because, there's a lot of stuff I talked about. So
there is a point. There is a point to Devin's coming clean, because once you get caught in a lie like that, and once you know you have nothing, maybe one of the smartest things to do is to own up to it. And the problem is Rick Devins is playing with somebody like Joe Hunter, who he just can't seem to connect with. And even though they have like pretty similar values in life as family men and as fathers and everything, and good, outstanding men, they seem to have clashes on the philosophy on how to play the game Survivor, as far as being a lawful, truthful good versus somebody like Rick Devins, who's all about causing mayhem and having all of these fake idol finds in the middle of everybody, causing chaos in a good but fun way. So I think Rick Devins did the right thing here to try to say, hey, I have nothing. Let's not waste your time voting me out. It's way too early. There's still plenty of other bigger fish to fry here. So I totally understand where Devins is coming from here.
How do you feel about the rest of the stuff from before the auction challenge segment?
Yeah, just going off of what you were saying, it's very clear Rick Devins and Emily are more toward the bottom. Considering Christian just got taken out of the game. And just like some other people that were already eliminated from the season, it is a farce. The line from Christian was, my game is like a farce, and that is why I am rage-filled. And I think that's a very fair way for us fans to look at certain aspects of this season, as far as watching these people that we love getting eliminated in all of these ridiculous ways from celebrities that didn't need to be involved, that nobody asked for. And it is unfortunate. And you see these people you love to root for, like Rick Devins, toward the bottom of the tribe. And you got to say, well, this is Survivor. He's going to have to find a way to work his way back up and survive, because that's what Rick Devins does. So I don't know. It's tough for them right now. Yeah. But as you said, we're coming up on a very fun, it's not a challenge. It's more like an irregular tradition. But yes, the Survivor auction is coming back, and I'm so glad it came back.
I'm going to be like Julie Chen saying, but first, I just got now understood your rage-filled nickname you have there today. We do have Sam here now.
Ayo.
Hi, Sam. We actually just started. We actually just started less than 10 minutes ago. So we were just we're talking about the stuff before the auction and idol segment. If there's any thoughts you want to give us on that with like anything whatsoever, because we're talking about Devin's claiming his idol's fake after he picked it up after Christian's out. Just some stuff like that from before the auction.
I really don't have much thought. It's been a few weeks, a couple weeks since the episode, and there really hasn't been too much toward it prior to the auction, other than the fact that Aubrey is like starting to pick up, I guess, the pace, and we see it at the start of this episode, but otherwise, not really.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Like Aubrey finally getting more content, and I was like, wow, like it's just giving Sarah Lucina and Game Changers at this point. Which, by the way, why was Haley Ford in Game Changers? Like, what the fuck is with that? It's tradition at this point for me to bitch about Game Changers. Anyways, I'm gonna move on to the auction unless someone has anything they want to say from before it. because we do get
the
auction, and it's finally it's a normal auction. I miss Alex. I'm gonna get him to come on to the finale one. I'll be like, Alex, you have no autonomy in this. You will be coming out.
I'm gonna drag all of idle identifiers onto here. It's gonna be a 20-person live stream. Let's get it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. So it's finally a normal auction. No one loses their votes. No one's like being forced to spend a random amount of money. I think they finally realized they needed to just do an. And here's the thing: the only twist they put in the auction is that there are little mini challenges in the auction, like eating grubs or eating certain gross foods.
Those are fun.
Foods or like, right, that's fun. That is.
I'm glad they're not making people look in the woods for money. You know.
Exactly, because that segment was so boring. It ate up a lot of time. There's always someone who would find next to nothing. It was the same thing both times they did that in the past. And I'm glad that Survivor, at least for this time, actually listened to the fans and cut out the lost votes in the auction. Because I think they started to realize it was not working. Let me think. I'm trying to read out anything. I'm just reading up all the auction shit I have on here.
We could talk about how Aubrey is a psycho, and honestly, I respect Aubrey. I've already respected Aubrey in multiple ways based on her gameplay, but the way that she took down those 2 grubs was gangster energy. Yeah. So yeah, respect to Aubrey for pulling that out.
I put down, and I quote, "These people don't know simple math. $60 to $200 to $280," and I'm like, that's not increments of 20. That's like 140. Then that's like $80. I'm like, these people don't know simple math, and I'm the comm major. Like, how do these people not know math? Like, oh yeah, Jeff Probst. I shouldn't say this one, actually. I put like on there where Jeff said, "That's why you're back for Survivor 50." And I think he was talking to Ozzy. And I put down, totally ain't. Oh, no. It was to Aubrey. He put down, he quoted to Aubrey at one point. "That's why you're
she
back
was
for
an
Survivor
alternate,
50."
right?
Yeah, because right next to it,
like,
my
they
notes.
didn't initially have her back.
I put down on my notes, "Totally ain't because Amanda Kimmel dropped."
It's wild.
You know who we haven't talked about? We haven't talked about Jonathan. Richie loves when we talk about Jonathan. Jonathan had to eat a sea slug in this auction. That was fun. God, the sea slugs. If I gotta say though, that might be like the worst thing to eat. That just looks like absolutely gross. Looks like an actual like piece of
gross. I've eaten grosser. Yeah, Jonathan eats like a sea cucumber or something. And then they're like hyping up Jonathan. They're calling him the total package. And I'm like, John, don't boost his ego. Don't boost his ego. Don't boost it. Like, that's the last thing we need.
He's my last remaining teammate. Gotta hang on to him.
Sari going for just all the comfort she can get, just getting this like massive amounts of food, puking it up, and then going back for more food, getting like toothbrush, toothpaste, like a blanket or something like that. There's all these comfort items. I'm like, that just... If you've seen Sari on Big Brother 25, you know, that is just indicative of her, where she would just go for luxury and comfort. And I love that for Sari. It's in like the best way possible. Because if you guys notice, she got like the blanket, charcuterie board. What else did she get? It was like a giant nacho tray or something, or was that someone else? Like, she just went for all this big stuff. And I'm like, that is hilarious for Sari. But yeah, and then they basically, I put down that they were clearly rushing to try to get to Mr. Beast, because we all know this was a Mr. Beast episode, which I will get to, but I want to preface it by saying it was not as even close to as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, it could have been bad. It could have been very bad. It
could have. I will definitely say that when we get to the end of the episode 10 segment, because I have a lot to say on that. Yeah, even in the auction, I put that even in the auction, they're purpling Tiffany. And it was like, even before this point, you kind of knew Tiffany's not going to win. She was just so irrelevant at this point. What else? Oh, and then Joe had some monologue or something. And I was like, Joe, come on. Like, we don't need a long monologue at this point. Mr. Beast comes on Survivor. And then they're doing a challenge right after because I mean, before we move on, because I think Mr. Beast comes in and reveals the whole auction segment, or that he's like, oh, it's going to be a twist tonight, blah, 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 blah. And then Jeff's like, oh, we're going to go through a challenge right now, which I kind of think was a bad idea, because it's just going to give people, like, what if they start puking, like, right after they eat? Especially when a challenge requires balance. Like, do you guys remember Survivor Panama, where they had that big thing where like Terry won a reward? It was for a bunch of food, and then they did the final challenge, and then he dropped out. Like, he ended up dropping. It was like the first out, I think, because of the fact that it was like a balancing challenge, and he had like a lot of food. I literally started thinking of that when they actually pull up to the challenge, and it was somewhat of not like a full-on balancing one, but it was similar to a balancing one, because I was like, it's kind of like disadvantageous to someone who just ate a bunch of food. But before we get to the challenge, you guys have anything you want to say about the auction, or anything that I maybe missed or something?
Yeah, so I guess the chaos part was everyone put in their $20 for their family letters home, and then that was what introduced the Mr. Beast part. And theoretically, I guess if everybody wanted to, I don't know, not get letters from their family members after spending 20 plus days on the beach alone with, people that you probably don't know, mostly strangers, some friends, like no one's going to turn that down. So this was like a shoo-in. Of course, Mr. Beast was going to come into this. And honestly, we'll get into how this ends up shaking out toward the end of episode 10. But that was a no-brainer. Of course, they're going to get their family letters from home. But then it's like, oh, God, what have they just introduced?
You got anything, Sam?
No, not really. It's about expected. I love the auction. I think it's a good thing they didn't include any advantages or anything like that in it. And I think the biggest picture here is that it was only for fun, for rewards. Nothing game breaking comes out of the auction. That being said, we'll get to it later.
Right, I agree. I think they needed to have at least one auction that in the modern era that was not like including a shitload of advantages and a shitload of like random challenge stuff or whatever, because of the fact that like people always hold out money. And I feel like the Rachel in 45 kind of just made them look at it and being like, oh, okay, like there could be advantages hidden and stuff now. But now that there wasn't anything hidden in anything, like they know it's for fun. I feel like it's going to change the dynamics of the auction in the future. We're just going to make it more fun. I don't remember what the challenge was. I think they had to like balance and do something. I mean, that's what 90% of individual immunity challenges come down to nowadays. It's either an obstacle course, or they have to stand on one foot, or they have to balance and do something, hold some balls. Steib, you're trying to show me what the challenge is, but you cut out.
I was muted, but it's like an arch, and then they got to hold the ball like on top of that.
That one.
And then they're also walking down the angled balance beam. I'm just trying to explain. Yeah. But like you said, it's another balancing challenge that we've seen like really like 1,800 variations of already. So
I mean, it's a balance challenge. It's about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Classic Survivor.
I mean, at least I think it would have been cool if they did the one from Survivor Borneo where they had to like balance on like a giant plank of wood in the water, like next to each other, like right next to each other. And they had to like stand there as long as they can. Like I thought that I get why they wouldn't, because that's probably a long challenge. Well, actually not a long challenge, because you could just like take off planks of wood over time. But like do something like that. Do more challenges in the water. Like Last Gasp would have been great at this point in the game. But like anyways, I put down in my notes another endurance challenge. Yay! I put down stuff can't win individual immunity. What's new? And I put down it's full circle. Her first immunity challenge she ever did. She jumped off for food and got it. Now she got food and then choked at the challenge.
Huh.
I mean, food's just a kryptonite in this game, apparently.
I thought Steph won one of the Blood Moon idols, but I don't really recall.
Oh, she did, yeah. Tiff. Oh yeah, no, not Tiff. I put down like because like I ran a point. Devins was all like, oh well, I'm everyone's favorite TV reporter, and everyone's out of nowhere just throw shade at Savannah. He's like, "Ha, take that, Savannah Louie," and I'm like, "What the hell's with the Savannah shade?" Like,
well, no, it was a funny reference because they're both news people from Georgia, so I think that's all that was.
There was an Aubrey versus Michelle mention that just screams. Oh wait, no, never mind. That was later. I think that was right when the challenge ended. Yeah, that was after challenge. I might ignore that for now. But does anyone? Honest to God, I don't remember. Does anyone remember who won this challenge? Was it Joe or
Tiffany?
Tiffany won it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because this is the first one she won the season, right?
Her second.
Her second?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because she won with Joe in that duo thing. It's hard to remember all this fuck ass shit. Believe me.
Yeah.
There's so much fuck ass.
I have notes, and I did not type down that Tiffany won.
Take notes, Paramount.
Win, yeah. But yeah, I mean Tiffany won immunity. And I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, that was after her challenge. But Sam, is there anything you want to say about this challenge before we move on? About anything?
I think it's funny the fact that Tiffany didn't have any food probably helped her in the challenge, truth be told, because food is going to make you worse just in a challenge in general because it makes you lose your focus, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Like you're feeling full. I think the hunger probably helped Tiffany in a way in this challenge. And that's probably why she won.
Well, I think she may have gotten food. I just think they rushed past it. But I think it was definitely less food than other people from what we were shown. Because you see someone like Sari get so much food that she pukes it up. Jonathan had a bunch of food at one point. Ozzy had a massive cake, and I wrote a very interesting comment that I'm not going to say it next to it as a joke.
Good. Thanks for sparing us.
You know, now I
want it's probably incredibly dirty.
You know me so well. I'm joking.
I do.
I'm joking. No, it was like nothing like that bad. It was not that bad of a joke, but I'll tell you the joke some other time. It's actually a funny one. It's not that bad. Anyways, we get back to camp, and I think one of the first things that happened is start like splitting up and talking. I think I may have missed a lot of stuff, but I do remember at one point it kind of comes down to I think people are starting to want to go for Devins at first, but then there's some talks about I forgot if it was Ozzy or something like that, but the Ozzy's later on. But I know there's a confessional at one point with Aubrey because my next notes say Aubrey versus Michelle mentioned because Aubrey mentions losing to Michelle and Korong. And to me, it just screamed that Aubrey's likely winning because she specifically says, and I quote, I can borrow a few tricks from her.
Yep.
And in that moment, I'm like, yeah, Aubrey's winning. Like, it just kind of felt like of such an obvious winner's quote that, like, learning from your past, why you lost, who you lost against. Like, it's just such an obvious winner's quote. And at that moment, I'm like, fuck it. Aubrey's winning. Like, it's not even a contest anymore. Just show everything tonight. But, yes, obviously, your hand up.
Whoops, I was muted. As we'll find out in episode 11 when we discuss that, not everybody is willing to learn from past mistakes. Some might be willing to repeat them, but we'll get to that. I certainly see what you're saying. And yes, that's certainly poignant and interesting timing.
Right. No, it was very interesting timing. And I know this is when Aubrey starts to push for Ozzy in this moment, if I recall correctly. And then I don't recall half of what happened because I think I missed a lot of I forgot to write a lot of notes down. Jonathan claims he isn't lying to Stephanie, but that he's exaggerating to her. And I'm like, Jonathan, you're lying to her. Don't be that bitch. Like, just say you're lying to her. Like, just say you're lying.
Bro explained lying in extra steps. Like.
It's like it's literally like lying with extra steps. Like it just Jonathan, and it's even especially in this stretch of episodes where it especially comes high key that like he's getting credit for moves he did not make. or like they're trying to make it look like he's getting the credit with no editorial backup. And I've even seen people talk about this online, and I've been calling this out since like freaking I think around the time D went out, where he tried to take sole credit for one of the moves, even though it wasn't solely his. But moving on.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to check himself on that towards this final stage of the game, considering, spoilers, he's still in. And, he's going to have to be very careful about walking that line. He has been a part of some pretty pivotal decisions in the game, at least, like, right before the jury began, and then, like, in the early stages of the jury. And even then, like, he's been able to, like, avoid the targets himself, and he's been able to push it onto other people, like Devins or perhaps even Ozzy or perhaps even Suri. So I think as much as some of us may pain to admit it, there is a chance actually for Jonathan if he can just like find the right way to communicate his gameplay to these people. Maybe there is a way for him to win.
I have to do a couple things quickly. So I'm just gonna say a couple things. I'll let you guys talk about it. While I quickly do something because I have to watch my sister's dog and she's gonna be here in the next like probably 10-ish minutes. I want to say, I don't know, maybe half hour. But Joe tells Suri the plan to go for Ozzy. And the fireworks begin because that's when everyone starts going off. They're saying pretty much like almost everyone's name is thrown out in one way or another. And Suri then starts coming against Stephanie, like really hot as hell, just going for Stephanie. Like hot in her tails, that's what I meant to say. Hot in her tails, hot as hell, trying to go after her, like letting the flames just consume her game. Stephanie's still a bad liar. And I put down Stephanie getting taken out by Suri again, her missed. Yep. Suri's miss. And then Stephanie starts trying to take a shot at Suri, which I'm like, no, Stephanie, no. Stephanie, and then I put down Stephanie's shade to Suri, immediately getting thrown right back out her. I think that's all I have for the right before tribal segment, but like it's really this whole thing where I feel like Stephanie's ass is on the line and she's starting to feel the pressure come down to her. And I honestly really like that. Because like we'll get to Stephanie in a bit. But what do you guys think about also being earshot, but what do you guys think about this whole pre-tribal segment? Anything I may have forgotten to mention?
Generally entertaining. Like a lot of shit happens, and that's what's great about it is that hey, the players are here actually bringing it and coming to play, and they're doing a lot of good stuff. And I see Richie has stood up from his chair to do his thing, but we're gonna keep talking anyways. And so I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's nice to actually see the players like it feels like the game's kind of been on autopilot for a lot of the merge up to this point, where it's been like, oh, twist after twist after twist, or like simple by simple, where it's like, all right, this now is where shit is hitting the fan.
Agreed. And yeah, we're at a very fun point in this season where there is still enough people left to where the chaos is still madness and everybody's name is getting thrown out and votes are changing left and right. And it is very interesting with all of these crazy twists that they keep adding that everybody seems to forget about the old advantages that everybody seems to keep in the game, such as Ozzy's idol, such as Rizzo's idol. And, you know, it's still a chaotic game and anything can happen, but it's still crazy to see that trio of Suri's Wizard of Oz still like trying to navigate this game. And ultimately with this episode 10, with these potential loadouts, they might be trying to keep that power in their side of their own alliance.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and now I'm in mourning again. Sorry. Anyways, do we have anything we want to quickly say before we go to the tribal segment? Because I have a good chunk of stuff for tribal.
I mean, that's really it. It's a little bit of a lead up to tribal, a bit of chaos, but tribal's really where everything starts happening.
All right, I'll go to tribal then. I'm going to talk about everything up until the vote off for tribal council. And then we can talk about it. Yeah, so Jeff immediately, they all come in, and Jeff starts monologuing for like a solid like minute or two, and he's like trying to make it look like it's only because Mr. Beast, which it partially is true. Like the players were only chaotic because of the fact they were worried about this twist, but it's the players, not Jeff or the twist.
Absolutely not. No.
Because I feel like at least that's what the edit I felt like was trying.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that immediately.
Yeah.
The players are chaotic because they're playing Survivor and they're doing the game. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Mr. Beast twist that's happening.
Oh, I put that down too in my notes. I put down it's the players deciding to play the game. But I just put down like I think they were like concerned, like they were concerned about the twist, but it was more so them deciding to play the game. But
and I'm so annoyed with how they're phrasing it and stuff, and they're just Jeff is just glazing. And here's the thing, Mr. Beast, he's there. He's not really overstepping anything. He's just there. Oh,
he is.
And he's like, I'm here to have a good time. And Jeff keeps fucking bringing up like the entire time. He's like, this is because Mr. Beast is here and all this shit. And it's like, dude, no.
Even Mr. Beast knows to keep his ass out of things. Even I'll give credit to Jimmy Beast when it's due. Like he actually kept his ass out. He was smart enough to keep his mouth shut, let the game be a game, and even like with this twist, he let the players have some autonomy in it. Yeah. Like, honest to God, like, he actually did a really great job with it. And we'll get more into it later on. But, like, I'm just surprised because it literally is. Like, he's doing a better job than Jeff was because Jeff could not shut the fuck up this round. It's like, Jeff, stop monologuing. It's one thing, like, I do understand. He does need to make some conversation on Tribal. I do understand he definitely has to have screen time as the host. But this entire last few seasons, it's just been crossing the line where more and more time is getting devoted to Jeff. When it's like we just need to Survivor Jeff at one point and see if he could survive 39 days on an island, because it just seems like he wants to do Celebrity Survivor at this point. But
it's like there's a proverbial gun to the head of Probst, where there's legal contracts with these celebrities and with these people to where you need to say X amount of words about them or about Zach Brown and about all the records he sold and about all the stadiums he sold out or whatever and all these crazy things. And the reality is, much like many things in life, nobody fucking cares.
No one cares.
Thank you.
Did you see the meme where they Photoshop Camilla onto Camilla's face onto Jeff's body, had a gun in her hand, and it's Jeff Probst with his hands up and Camilla's the new host of 51.
I had to going back off of what you were saying.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh no.
Yeah, going off of what you were saying. What Mr. Beast did, yeah, he did take it the right way. He didn't make it about him. And he wanted to let Jeff do all of the over explaining that he did. And yeah, Jeff should have done less glazing. That would have been cool.
Right. And here's
the thing, he could have done that for multiple celebrities. So
right. Well, and I understand you want to hype up the celebrity guests you have. I totally understand that to an extent. But even when Jimmy's trying to keep his ass out of it, you kind of know, if Jimmy's keeping his ass out and trying to focus on the players, that's when you might need to stop a bit and be like, hey, maybe I gotta wait till the end to do this. Buddy. Right. Essentially, the twist is I call it do or die 2.0. Essentially, it's a coin flip. If it lands, if you have to basically call what side you want you're betting on. If it falls on the side you call it on, you get an idol, you get immunity for that night, and the prize doubles to $2 million. If it goes on the side you don't call it on, you're out of the game. It's basically do or die 2.0. And when I heard that, I was pissed. And then word for word,
it sucks.
I word for word put down what the actual fuck. Jeff, I knew your ass didn't listen to us.
I thought it was gonna suck.
We got very lucky with the outcome, but we'll get to that.
We got this is the most lucky outcome period with just who was there and what happened.
Right.
This is the best it could have gone, and even the best it could have gone was not that great.
Right. I do think it was funny because and I will say they didn't force anyone to do it. It was the players got to choose who did it. I think they said someone had to do it, but it was they at least got to choose, which I did like that Mr. Beast, Jimmy, whatever you want to call him, put that in. I do like that they actually put that in and said the players got to choose who does it.
That was good. I hate the fact that it would have even been random draw at that point, because then it's like
Right.
it's like spinning 2 fucking lucky wheels and you get out of the game, and it's so stupid.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they said it was a random draw if no one decided, right?
Yeah,
that's right. I did forget that part.
and it's like, why are you trying to? Because the whole point of Survivor is you get voted out. That is the big thing.
Yeah,
and that is what the show is built on, is being voted out. And so when you're taking these twists that are essentially taking away from the vote and subtracting from the actual tension of the show and subtracting what the show means, it's like a slap in the face to fans.
exactly. I put down because I think they had a show. They showed a part of it where Ozzy's in Devin's ear, encouraging him to go up there, which I thought it was like cinematic, and I was laughing. I'm like, this is cinematic as hell. Like Ozzy just trying to push Devin towards the edge of insanity, and which is a very smart move for Ozzy, because if Devin gets it wrong, he's out. If Devin gets it right, then it's just a bigger target on Devin's, because guess what? He can still go after him in the future. Like, it's the target doesn't, I mean, we kind of see what happens eventually.
I mean, he was going to do it regardless. Like,
yeah. But Ozzy trying to like push Devin's towards that, push him towards like potentially going out. Like, it's smart move, because then it's not, and then Ozzy's not at risk that night. It gets him past another night for sure. But yeah, let me see.
It's a twist that's obviously meant to save whoever's on the bottom. And this twist, as they said, and as we've all said, this twist literally screams Rick fucking Devins. So of course Rick Devins is going to go for this crazy.
If he was on the top, he'd still do it. Like,
oh, he would.
He absolutely would. No, and there's just a certain level of risk that you have to be willing to take, not just in the game of Survivor, but in life. And it's very fun to see Rick Devins playing this way. And I'm absolutely glad that he got this call back to be a part of the season. And that's why I can't possibly be all doom and gloom about Survivor 50, because I still am enjoying it. There are still things to enjoy.
There are things,
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I have to talk about with the rest of this episode, because I don't want to take too long in this one episode. But I mean, Devins obviously was going to get the coin flip right. There was way too much airtime.
I figured he was going to get it. I figured he was going to I figured he was going to get eliminated and get it wrong, to be honest.
No, I mean, look, this is might be just like pacing issues, and this is a problem with like just the way this is edited in the show, and just generally speaking, is that there was like 15 to 20 minutes left in the episode, and they then proceeded to honestly, I think if they do the coin twist, I'm like, why are they waiting till before the vote to do this?
Right.
Like, for pacing issues, because it's so obvious in the moment. Like, yeah, he fails. Yeah, or no, yeah, he succeeds.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
Sorry, my brain decided to say the opposite of what I meant. But it's like, yeah, he succeeds. Like, if he failed, they would have cut the episode after that. Like, they're not going to spend 20 minutes on Devins' goodbye speech or whatever. Like,
right. I do say the entire segment of Mr. Beast being there, Rizzo and Devins are just fishing for a Mr. Beast cameo, like Ozzy was fishing for a White Lotus cameo. Excuse me, a cameo. I was joking around with that because I just thought it was funny. I put down, yes, Devins is safe. Also, stop trying to make do or die happen. And pretty much almost all caps, except for the word also. Everything was in all caps. And then Jeff was all like, Jeff or Rizzo, I think it was Rizzo, said, history just happened. And I'm like, yeah, because of a bad fucking twist. Like, but I think they're then starting to have this conversation of like who to vote out. Maybe it was before the coin flip, maybe it wasn't, but I know there's one point where Stephanie's trying to like deflect onto random people, and Tiffany calls her ass out on it, and like Tiffany was not having it. Like, she calls out Stephanie for lying, and Stephanie's like, wait a minute, hold up a bit, and I'm like, Stephanie, just stop. Your ass got called out. Like, shut up. Yes, everyone then goes to vote. Ozzy not playing his idol in this spot was ballsy. Sorry,
I mean, yeah, ballsy, but it worked here. I mean, look, he got 0 votes. Like, I think there was writing on the wall here for what was going to happen, and god damn it, I see why you're laughing now.
No, because I wrote a note. No, I wrote a note to my future self No, so like sometimes I'll write like when I'm writing these notes, I'll sometimes write like funny jokes and for myself to see when I'm doing this. And I just saw a funny one I quoted something from American Dad next to this moment, so that's why I was laughing. I'll tell you guys it later. It's a funny joke. Sorry, go on.
I mean, but yeah, like I will say there's something else about the twist that I just doesn't sit well with me is the fact that if we didn't have this twist, it's likely Devin's going home.
Yeah.
or honestly, it could have still been Stephanie. But
yeah,
like what bothers me about this, granted, it was telegraphed previously. That makes sense. It's just like you're introducing unnecessary shit that is directly causing someone else to go home.
Right.
Which for like an idol, that's clearly telegraphed at some time. And, you know, I think they telegraphed it well for what the season is just by doing it at the auction and be like, oh, there's going to be this big twist. But
right. And it gave the players information they needed to know at least that something was about to come, but they didn't really say the full thing of what was about to come.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I put down Stephanie's messiness got her out. And then she's like, not surprised. And I'm like, girl, shut the hell up. I was like, your boy threw you under the bus like assisted living Dracula. Why did I write it like that?
Living Dracula.
It's a joke. It's a joke from Aqua Teen Hunger.
Richie, that's what I say about 99.9% of the shit that you fucking type in the group chats and discords and everything that I get from you. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to respond?
Anyways, at 11 tonight.
No, wait, okay.
Yeah,
let me finish this.
At 11 tonight, Space Bears are gonna come down and take over the Earth.
Night at 11. No, it's a joke from our Survivor Wisconsin Discord. Go watch Survivor Wisconsin, by the way. At Idol Identifiers. Let me move on and finish this, then we can talk for a couple minutes. Because I put down full circle for Stephanie in a small way because in Palau, her first season, she barely survived the final 10 round because it was a fire making thing, and now she is out at 10th place. So it all comes back circle place. So she was getting 10th place regardless of what she did. And she's like, out of the 4 torch snuffs, this is the hardest. And I'm like, girl, did you forget about Guatemala? Like, you got to the end in Guatemala. Like, you can't do simple math.
Well, she didn't get her torch snuff. That's different.
That's why I meant. So she said out of the 4 torch snuffs, and she forgot that she didn't get her torch snuff in Guatemala. Because there was Palau, there was Heroes vs. Villains, and then there's 50. But she never got her torch snuff in Guatemala. So there's only 3 torch snuffs. Yeah, do you see what I was saying now?
I really wish I had like a Vine Boom sound effect on like my keyboard or something I could just play there.
Okay, so but Stephanie's out of the game, and honestly, no, like she I think did not play. I think she played honestly worse than she did in any of her seasons. She really was just kind of irrelevant. I think she had some moments where she was playing okay, but she just really the last few rounds of her game, it was just kind of her, I feel like, giving up a lot of power and control and agency. It was really just her putting herself in such a bad position. And she just tries to make a big move, which I respect, trying to make a big move and go against a big player like Suri, but it's obviously like the numbers were clearly not there to do it.
Right.
And I feel like she just really, on her way out the door, just played so poorly. I guess she would have kept her mouth shut. When she opened her mouth this episode and started trying to push names, I literally thought to myself, Stephanie's going out because there's no way she's able to push a name without it just backfiring onto her almost immediately. And I was right. Like, yeah, Stephanie literally, thank you. Stephanie literally, it's just, I kind of question like why she's back. I kind of get why, like legacy wise, but at the same time, it's like she just did not provide a season. She felt kind of irrelevant for like half the season. I don't know,
when you have, and the thing is, when you have a season filled with such big characters, the problem is that some of the people who are more people and more normal people who have legacies because of what they did in the game versus their character, they're gonna fall by the wayside, and that happens really in any returning season that's big characters.
Yeah, I'll be brief considering we're still talking about episode 10 and we got 2 more episodes to go. But right. Yes, we're absolutely glad that Rick Devens gets to stick around. He's the chaotic good that everybody loves to root for. And the prize pool is doubled now, so somebody's going to get $2 million. So that's also fantastic. and that's more taxes going to Uncle Sam. So woohoo! And no, not you, Sam. Sorry. If
you can increase our
but I gotta say, like Stephanie going out here, it makes sense because she was playing a decent pre-merge game, and she did have a decent run where she did win one of those Blood Moon immunity idols. She did like hold her arm up for an hour that one time. She got that steal a vote, which didn't end up making much of a difference. I do think she does catch a lot of flack, and I do think there were some bright points to her game. So yeah, I mean, good on her, I guess.
Stephanie did use her steal a vote, actually. I just remembered. I forget who she used it on, but I do remember she used it.
Rick Devens.
He used it on Rick Devens, which is very funny.
Is there anything else we want to say on like Stephanie going end of episode 10 before we move on to episode 11?
Not really. No.
Yeah. All right, I'll move on. I'm gonna try to speed through episode 11 because we took a lot of time in episode 10. I put down to start off with Aubrey and Jonathan are narrating what happened again, coming back from Tribal. And at this point, I'm like, it kind of feels like they're going to be the last, because you kind of see in some seasons, they do this around this point in time, the last like half of the season, the back half of the season. They'll usually have the final like 2 or 3 people be the ones that like narrate a lot of what happens. Maybe sometimes it's a 4th and 5th placer, but like it's usually the winner and the runner up are usually ones who get a lot of narratorial content for what's happening in the game, and we kind of see it through their eyes. And we're getting that with Aubrey and Jonathan. I'm like, gosh damn it, Jonathan's likely going to get to finale at this point. Joe and Jonathan, I think even Devins is like jumping around. He's hyped about winning, and I think it's basically like being shown that Joe and Jonathan are being babies. They're throwing fits. They're sulking because Devin's there. They didn't want him there. They're not celebrating or happy that there's a potential that any of them could win $2 million, or even that they could win $2 million. They're just sulking, and Joe's being such a baby, and people are finally calling him out for it. Where Cerie's getting annoyed with them. Cerie's getting annoyed with him, saying, calling him out, being a baby. And I'm glad for it. Like, I'm glad people are finally calling this shit out again, because like, why? Like, he's just being such a baby, and he's saying it was like, I forgot how Joe was saying it, but he was trying to claim it was like just, I forgot how Joe was complaining about Devins. I feel like this is like his villain arc this season, which I've actually heard.
And I will say, I have heard this in outside of the show as well, is that it is being blown out of proportion, like for the sake of the edit of what Joe is doing, which makes me to fully believe, yeah, so he's going to be getting...
Yeah. That's my assumption too. That's my prediction, but
that's a fair read. And honestly, I don't know if it's necessarily a villain arc, but yeah, they are playing with the editing a lot to make it look more than it is. And maybe it's more like just the super hypocrite arc where like for him to still find something to be mad about when the prize pool just got doubled. I understand like your greatest rival is now safe. Your greatest rival is now safe, at least for one more round with an idol, theoretically. So there is so that to be bitter about. But yeah, it's just very odd to see Joe acting like this because Rick was loyal to the people he was loyal to. So I can't understand why Joe can't see some honor in Rick Devens and can't be willing to get past whatever dumb shit they got going on in the game.
Exactly. And it's like, and I've been in this spot too in the game with like, I played as for a lot of server allergies, as some viewers will know. I've definitely been in a spot where I've had rivals I do and don't want to work with. And there are times where I will flat out say, hell no, I'm not working with this person when I probably should have. And times where I will put it aside and be like, you know what, I should work with them. And I think Joe should have worked with Devins. I think even just for one round, like knowing he has the idol, at least try to make the effort to get on his good side so he doesn't use it against. It's better to have the person with the idol working with you than against you. as I have stupidly learned multiple times.
And I'd also like to add like the whole entire scene of Devin's opening the hidden idol and like doing his extended ridiculous dance scene with the
I love that.
Oh my god, it was so much fun.
It's like on the ground, just like. Oh.
This is a Devin's ass scene. Let me put it that way.
Rick Devins is. I've honestly, now that I've become more socially confident, I'm adopting Rick Devins' personality of, hey, if you're going to ostracize me, I'm going to make you realize just how much you're not affecting me and how much fun I'm actually having. And I'm just going to rub it right back in your face. And I absolutely adore Rick Devins, and who doesn't? So yes, I love this moment. Him dancing well with the little water catcher. That was great.
Like,
we do get some fun content regarding before the challenge. I think it was before the challenge. Yeah, it was right. It was before the challenge where Suri was making smart moves because he starts worth mentioning Game Changers, which, by the way, why was Haley on Game Changers? No.
See, it's funny because this is like the linchpin of your argument. And I'm like, that's like the least bad part of it.
I don't know. That's a joke.
Fucking Queen of Ponderosa 2 times queen shit.
No, here's the thing. I like Haley Ford. I even said this to Alex last weekend because we somehow got to joking about Game Changers out of nowhere. It's like a running gag now where we just like we're just jokes about Game Changers on this channel. So it's a tradition at this point. I like Haley Ford.
Hardly know her.
Let me finish. Sorry, let me finish just because we have a lot to get through. So Haley, as a second chance player, we word for said this. If a second chance is Sue, Haley makes perfect sense and would have been a great candidate for that. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Haley a third time. Just on Game Changers, it doesn't make sense. I actually do like Haley, but yeah, the cast of Game Changers does not make sense. But that's another video. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought this joke in the middle. I thought this joke in the middle of that. I just have to say, welcome to Podcast Changers.
We are the pod changers.
Yeah.
Well, there's no Haley Fords here.
But we forward on anyway.
Yeah,
so
move on. So Suri, now remember I mentioned Game Changers. She starts referencing Advantage Getting. She's freaking out a little bit about it, knowing how many people have idols, and she's making smart moves. And I think she starts trying to put not like a hit out on Ozzy, but she starts trying to be more open about the potential of like either taking out Ozzy or flushing his idol, alongside trying to get like trying to get Ozzy and Rizzo to play their idols, so that if something happens towards the end, then she's not going to get taken out Advantage Getting. Which I'm like, yeah, like good on you, Suri. Like he has the information, use it to your advantage. You know, the only thing I worry about is that if they find out she knew about it, then she burns them, and then she's out. But it's good for her for at least trying to make sure she's taking the right precautions to not have Advantage Getting happen to her.
Yeah, I mean, it seems smart. It could be something. I don't really remember too much. But it screams that the way she's playing it though. It's like why are you pushing so hard for two people who are very much allies of yours? At this point at least, to get them out when they both have idols, which especially if, like, say Ozzy wins immunity at that final like final 5 where all these advantages get played, where's his idol going?
Right. Ozzy had the story of talking about his now deceased father, who actually, and I do like the callback to where he did mention his dad in Cook Islands. So I really actually like that callback to that, because I actually forgot that he mentioned his dad in Cook Islands in the final tribal. And he and Ozzy and Devin's having like a really good father bonding moment. I feel like it's like really showing Ozzy's like amping up his social game and becoming a great social strategic player. And I don't even think Ozzy was aware of how great that conversation was for his game with Devins. Like,
Ozzy does something good socially for once. Whoa!
Well, he literally like what I'm saying.
By
like,
complete accident.
I said at the start of this I started this breakdown today that Ozzy has been doing, like, Ozzy has played such a better game, and he proved, like, coming in, I said Ozzy's gonna suck ass, he's gonna do the same thing, and then he proved me wrong. Like, good on Ozzy, he proved me wrong. Like, he 100% like showed me up. Like Ozzy, I don't even think he even knew how good that was for his game socially. It was just amazing. So, but then we get to Emily and Devon's trying to target Suri, and I was like, no, bad, leave Suri alone. And then there was a challenge. So before we get to the challenge, anything you two want to talk about with any of this stuff?
Yeah, I definitely have thoughts on Ozzy, and I'm gonna wait to hold them until the end of our episode 11 portion. But I've enjoyed watching Ozzy ever since I've been watching the show, and he certainly hasn't played perfect games by any stretch of the imagination, and he certainly hasn't been the perfect person, and nobody is. And to see his life unfold and to see him grow into the person that he is now, somebody who is a lot more sensible socially and a lot more aware of his state and trying to remain calm as far as like mentally. And to see him talk about his relationship with his father openly like that, it was sweet and it was humanizing. And I did enjoy that moment, and it was a sweet little bit of reflection, but man, does that take a sour turn by the end of this episode, but we'll get to that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And guess what? We get to the immunity challenge. We find out something.
Well, what was the challenge?
Bermuda Triangle.
It's like the triangle bounce one that they do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I put down a note for it saying, oh boy, this immunity challenge again. And I put down, feels like they do this 4 times in every 5-season cycle. And then I just never put down what the challenge was. I was like, what the fuck is it? Like, honestly,
they do this a lot. I don't really care. I like it.
I wouldn't mind if it was like
basic challenge.
In the 5-season cycle, I wouldn't mind if it's like 2, maybe 3 times in a 5-season cycle. My only thing is that every challenge is like an endurance-based challenge at this point because they're cheap to make, and it's just it gets boring. I like the old school seasons where they would have like different variations of challenges. Like some may be mental, some may be endurance-based, some could be more physical-based, some could be like you have to have like a certain amount of skill and like shuffleboard. I don't know. You guys get what I mean. Like it used to be more variety. Now it's just all endurance, and it's kind of annoying. But hi Fuqua. We're definitely gonna get to the remaining players who left at the end of it. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff for it. But I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, what was that? Oh yeah, the twist. Yes, the twist. Now I know what you're talking about, Sam, because I just remembered it now. Yeah, because they say that after the challenge, that they're going to be divided into 2 groups of 4. Whoever wins essentially is, I think they call it the power broker, where they get to go to both tribal. It's essentially another glorified split tribal twist because
it's a split tribal. It is a split tribal we go to.
They did not manage their time correctly, and they're paying for it in the back half. I know Joey's going to disagree with me on this. I don't care.
No, they do.
They should have did double tribals every pre-merge round except for the first one. Double tribals every round. And then we maybe would have had 1 double tribal post-merge, sure. But it wouldn't have been this egregious.
They keep introducing so much like shit in the middle of the game at the merge that's taking away from the merge. And that's the problem. And that is the biggest problem I have with the season is that they have such an all-star cast, such a good cast of players, such like a group who's here to play. And when they try and play, the show constantly derails them from actually playing the game.
Right. It's like, what is this, 41? Survivor 41? Like,
and here's the thing. I enjoyed the pre-merge a lot. Because they were playing normal Survivor. Blood Moon on, I have not enjoyed this season as much. It's been a slog.
It has.
And it's like the contestants, like the characters of the contestants are helping a lot and making it way more interesting, but just the game itself has just become muddy. It's almost like you took, I'm trying to think of a metaphor. You took the first half, which was turned out really great, and then you're fucking throwing all this glitter on everything at the second half. Like, ooh, shiny, look, it's good, right? And it's like, no, it's not good. You're putting fucking glitter everywhere. I'm gonna choke.
Did you see Big Brother 26 with I think her name was Lisa, where
Lisa, yes.
Yeah, she put glitter on everything.
Yes.
It became like a running gag where they just were like just glitter on everything.
It's like, stop putting glitter on like this shitty food. Or stop putting glitter on a steak. It's not going to help the taste. It's going to make it worse.
Man, y'all are just talking my language, because there's a common theme I'm seeing in the world where like these people with this power over these decisions over something as trivial like Survivor, they go through this process of in-shitification. And like you said, it's adding shit for the sake of change or for the sake of keeping things fresh. And it's absolutely ridiculous when this shit doesn't pan out. And these people, their $2 million games are cost because of these crazy twists. So, and have we talked about the result of the challenge and the interesting little development with production there?
I was actually right about that now. I do want to say
that's a pretty big thing.
One quick thing I do want to say, a shout out to Andrea and Brenda, because people seem to always forget that the reason why the last part of this challenge, if they go long, is standing on one foot was because of Andrea and Brenda and Kara Moen. And people seem to forget that all these years later, that Andrea and Brenda, two people who I think should have been on 50, literally the whole reason and this causes so much chaos in the last few minutes of this challenge, because originally Tiffany wins, but because she didn't get to, because she didn't lift her foot up in time, they said, no, it doesn't count. You're DQ'd. And I put down, it's giving Pearl Islands with Burton. And then Jonathan wins.
I mean, very clear video footage of people falling off with 1 foot in those moments early when they were trying to transition. And yeah, it's one of those things that Jeff couldn't possibly catch live. And that's why they have all of these checks and balances in place, right, and these extra sets of eyes on the competition to catch shit like that. And yeah, like Tiffany's not trying to cheat here, of course. This is just like in the heat of the moment. Oh, I guess I couldn't like get up quick enough. And then it's like, yeah, I guess I did technically kind of break the rule there. So yeah, props to Jonathan for getting up on his foot and I guess technically lasting the longest.
Yeah. They basically, then they announced that they're splitting them up. Yay. And I think one group is Devon's, Emily, Suri, and Rizzo, right? Yeah, no, because Oz in the other group, or Rizzo's in the other group. It's Devon, Suri, Tiffany, and Emily. And the other group is Ozzy, Rizzo, Aubrey, and Joe. No?
Yep, Joe.
Yeah, I thought I said no. I don't like what?
Joe.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear you. My audio is really shit right now. And then Jonathan has the power to kind of go back and forth between each group, is what they tell him. So before we get to those camp segments, anything you two want to talk about with the challenge or anything up to this point?
It's a critical divide here because obviously you're going to have relationships that are going to be severed somewhat, at least for like this night at Tribal Council. And certain people are not going to be able to tell each other like, hey, there's some inklings here about you potentially getting thrown out. Like maybe you should do something, play an advantage or something. I don't know.
That's why they shouldn't wait until like if they know something's going on. They need to warn them ahead of time. Like, hey, like maybe.
This is why I play an advantage like immediately when I find one in these games.
I do
not take any chances.
I can
absolutely not take all the chances you need.
I could never do that because my biggest fear playing any Survivor game is I'm going to go out with an advantage in my pocket, or I'm going to hold on to something for so long that it puts a target on me and gets me voted out. Like if you guys
when you're in a situation like this, when you're this close to the end of the game though, and you're in such a tight tribal, as Rizzo later explains, this is essentially a final five, kinda, and it's very scary to say, okay, like now my fate comes down to a few people that I was working with and a few people I'm not working with. Oh dear God, I would would probably have the same experience Christian did in episode 2. Thankfully, I'm not wearing. I'm not gonna have the same fate as that.
Well, the big thing for me, in terms of like how I would play, it's just I would never be. I'd be so scared of holding on to it for so long that it puts a target on my back. Like if you guys ever watched Survivor before Survivor Wisconsin, there was Survivor Whitewater, and those were like all like games with all of us in college. And I literally had a season where every time I'd get something, I would play it immediately because I'm like the people who held on for so long would get targets on their back, and like I just after that season, I was like, yeah, there's no way I could ever hold on to something because they would just. No, like I don't know, but that's
I'm also really good at finding things and people not knowing I have them, and that also helps.
I'm very bad at that. I'm very good at finding things, and then somehow everyone ends up knowing about it.
Yeah,
I'm bad at finding things, but when I do find things, everyone knows. Yeah. Like I found an idol. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Steib. I found a Sam for reference when I did fans versus favorites and Survivor Whitewater. Being the OG fan favorite. Anyways, not to boost my ego. Not to boost my ego or anything, but one of my friends like accidentally thought she saw the idol but didn't know it was the idol. She thought I was sitting holding a picture up. I just like yanked it out saying like if it breaks something, I'll pay for the damages. It didn't break anything, and it was an idol, and I started jumping up and down. I'm like, I found the idol, and like it was a 4-person tribe, and like everyone was there seeing me do this. And then after like 2 seconds of this, I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't be doing this. And then I'm like, well, at this point, everyone saw me do it. So I'm like, if I stop now, it's going to look even worse. Like, I have to show you that clip sometimes. I mean, it was actually really funny. I
will say with this tribal, upcoming this split tribal, I do have a fun fact that I just realized. This is the 5th and 6th tribals this season that have 5 people. Like, because we had Blood Moon, which was all 5-person tribals, and then once pre-merge with the Angelina vote. And so now we're having 2 more 5-player. I don't know, guys. Survivor 50 might be a big fan of the number 5. And next episode we have.
They just hate doing big tribals. They hate doing tribals with numbers small. Like they hate doing anything that's not a 5 or 6-person tribal.
It's an interesting year for the number 5, that's for sure.
I was going to move on to talk about stuff at camp, so we're not taking too long with this. I kind of felt like this vote is painfully obvious that it's Emily or Suri going in the one group. And the other group, I felt like it feels like Ozzy's being set up for such a massive fall. Because the dynamics immediately, I think we get to one of the groups. I think it was I forgot which group was first. I think it was the Ozzy, Rizzo, Aubrey, and Joe group. Where it literally felt like Aubrey's about to go. But then you get this whole stupid segment where Ozzy kind of goes up to Aubrey, tells her his entire game plan, how he wants to go to Yamasturi, go with the best of the best, not to pull her in, but essentially he pulls in Andy from Survivor 47. He pulls in Andy Ruda. Ruda? I don't know how to say his last name, so apologies if I said it wrong, but he pulls a Survivor 47 Andy, tells his game to the person who he is targeting and is about to send home, who immediately starts to turn us on to Ozzy. Which I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, this is another thing that made me question if... Sorry, Sam, I'll let you speak in a minute. I just want to finish this one part of it. That it just definitely feels like Aubrey was like getting higher up in the edit. She has so many little things that just reflect on past winner stories that everyone even compared us to, like when Andy did this to Rachel, and then Rachel wins the season. Ozzy's doing this to Aubrey. Like, I'm just, it's, yeah, sorry, Steib, you were
heading. Yeah, no, I feel 2 extremes, extreme hubris for Ozzy and extreme brilliance from Aubrey, of course, because Aubrey does absolutely the right thing that she needed to do to save her ass, because on paper, this absolutely looks like Aubrey is the target and is absolutely going home. And for Ozzy to have such, like I said, hubris and such confidence, like, okay, here's the game I'm playing. Here's who I'm aligned with. Here's how I'm going to win $2 million. Thanks for coming. That's incredibly fucking bold. And I cannot believe that after all of this reflection and after all of this growth that Oscar has shown us in these last 10 episodes, for him to do this at the very end and for him to not see his own writing on the goddamn walls, it blows my mind. And I saw James Clement go home with 2 idols, man. Like, this is just incredible. How can people make these mistakes?
I was laughing at this comment here. as the people who didn't know, the last couple weeks, there's been this like AI thing going around on like this like stupid Facebook group that just posts AI shit about false news of like the players. And one of them claimed that Emily and Ozzy were dating. It's an AI fake thing, but I just thought it was so funny.
That's foul.
Joking about it.
That's foul. And there's a lot of that AI fakery in social media and all over the internet. So yeah, I mean, if somebody is like creating that, there's a place in hell for them. That's all I have to say. Stop creating lies.
Yeah. So the big thing. No, I agree with that. The big thing is, I'm just trying to rush through so we're not like taking too long with this episode. It's very obvious that like I felt like it was obvious Cirie and Ozzy are going, because in the other tribe they're almost making it somewhat look like that it could be Cirie, because Devins and Emily, like Devins is an idol. He's like, oh, let's just move some votes around, make like, because I think then they're moving some votes around. Cirie's trying to do something with an extra vote that we forgot she has, I believe, from the coconut episode where she had to find the coconut and the thing. I think she got an extra vote from that. I don't remember, but
she got the extra vote from Ozzy, I thought, right?
Did? Maybe it
like
was
very,
Ozzy.
very early on in the season when Ozzy had the extra vote from the Exile Challenge, where he then gave it to Cirie.
Yeah, no, that's right. I'm stupid. I totally forgot that part of it, actually.
Don't worry, there's too many advantages to keep track of.
There is season. Like I just forgot like half of the shit. There's too much going on with the advantages, but I mean, good on Aubrey for capitalizing the Ozzy thing. Like 100% is good on her for that. And I even put it in. I'm like, good for Aubrey for capitalizing on this, because it's stupid that Ozzy did this. I put down these damn twists. I put down these twists keep ruining Survivor. These twits keep ruining Survivor with their dumb twist. This really do be the real twit manner. Devin's gonna laugh at that. And then there's I'm trying to think. It says again, like Cirie's trying to get Jonathan, because Jonathan can go back and forth with each group, but the other two groups can't talk to each other, which was only gonna inflame his ego more. Cirie basically is trying to get Jonathan to go like an extra vote plan. We don't want to split votes on Devins and Emily, and then get out the one that Devins doesn't play the idol on. So like Cirie and Tiffany and Jonathan would have 4 votes then with Cirie's extra vote, and then one of Emily or Devins would go home. But the edit, at least I felt like in the edit, it didn't look like they were going to go with this plan. I genuinely believed that Jonathan was not going to go with this. And then I think that's kind of it before Tribal. I didn't really have a lot of notes, so unless there's something I missed that you two want to talk about before we go to Tribal.
Not particularly.
Yeah, like it's a pretty big series of decisions for Jonathan here, and he's getting the central focus because he won a very critical immunity, and he's able to have 2 votes in these essentially 5-person tribals, and it's very good for his game because he is trying to build a case as to why he should now win $2 million. So for him to be able to win this challenge, admittedly, because of the DQ, admittedly under a somewhat controversial fashion, but it's still a win, and he's won challenges in the past before. Maybe he'll keep that streak going as the episodes unfold. We'll see.
If they would have just given it to Tiffany, Tiffany would have already been at 4 wins and tied the record, which actually would have been a cool historical moment for 50 that wasn't impacted by stupid twist. But
and that can still happen.
Yeah, we just had to give it to Jeff's baby daddy or something like that. So, and Jonathan, sorry, continue. Oh, I thought you had more to say.
Well, I probably did, but I forgot it. So thanks.
You're welcome.
Yay. Yeah, Survivor 50.
I'm sorry. You were you were talking about Jonathan and him having a lot of decisions and autonomy.
Yeah, I think it's also important that we finally get to see Q's vote finally come up. It only took 10 goddamn episodes. He lost the vote to Ozzy all that long ago, and he gave it to Cirie, and boy, does it save Cirie's ass, because this potentially could have been a double whammy here for Cirie's Wizard of Oz. Whew. Yeah, no, that extra vote comes in pretty handy, as we'll see.
Yeah, so I also
shout out Q, Team Steib.
Love Q. He better come back in future. We get the tribal. One of the tribals, I think it was the first one, because in the first group was the Sri, Devins, Emily, and Tiffany. That's not good for me to forget that Tiffany was there.
Don't worry, everyone is.
I literally have a joke. I said it in the last breakdown, but I had a joke where it said Tiffany in episode 9. There's nowhere to hide on Survivor 50. Editors, hold my beer.
Yeah, like.
Anyways, Jeff starts saying like it adds a new wrinkle to the game, and I'm like, Jeff, shut the fuck up. Like, you damn well know we didn't ask for any of this. Stop forcing post-merge split tribal twists. We hate them. And I said that quote word for word. I put down Emily and Suri being at risk in the first group. I'm like, please God, not them. And I kind of put down sucks that the only two who no one wants around aren't going home, and cough cough, Jonathan and Joe. But Suri uses her extra vote. Jonathan and Tiffany actually vote with her, and Emily ends up going home. I forgot what the vote count was, but Emily ends up going home.
So it was initially 2-2-2 with the idol play.
Yeah, because Devin plays his idol for himself.
And then, but okay, so this is something that I've been curious on how Survivor's going to handle, which is an extra vote and a revote.
Oh, this shit. Yeah, I'll let you explain this.
Is basically because if someone's voting, you know, the whole point of having like the revote and having the people not vote again is because, well, they can only vote one person, right? They can only vote for each other. And then it comes to this problem where they have to set a precedent here now, because Suri played an extra vote. Does she get the extra vote in the actual revote? And because of that, they're like, oh, we got to have you guys vote again. For one, I wish there wasn't it's kind of unavoidable to be like everyone's going to vote again, because you're breaking the precedent that had been set of like, so some fuck shit happened, and that kind of basically tells someone like Emily, like, oh, Suri was the one with the extra vote. Or like, that tells everyone basically that someone in the tie had the extra vote. And then also, it's just, it doesn't change the outcome. Like, it wouldn't have changed anything. It still would have been Emily going home, but it's a lot of fuck shit.
Exactly. I agree. Like, if your name's, regardless, my viewpoint, if you have an extra vote and you are in the tie on a revote, you should not be able to use the extra vote on like, you shouldn't be voting. Like, if your name is in the urn and you're in the tie, guess what? You shouldn't be able to use it. I don't know if I would say you should be able to use an extra vote in a revote.
I agree. I don't like extra vote revotes. I think if you're using an extra vote,
it's one and done.
An extra singular vote. It is a one vote. It is something that I wish happened on Survivor Wisconsin season 8, because then Nolan's plan would have fucking completely failed. But no, I mean, like, it's still lost different.
It's another one of those things that's like, yeah, it's a little neat little thing that's up for debate. But I would agree. Yeah, I think an extra vote should really only force the tie, and then, you know, whoever's in the tie just shouldn't vote, and then it comes down to whoever obviously is left, and then. If that's odd, if that's an odd number, somebody goes home.
Right.
You know, and then if there's more tiebreakers, we go from there, of course. But yeah, it's a hard line to walk.
So
they have changed those rules. So yeah, like maybe they're open to changing them.
I put down having Emily go right to the jury bench. That's gotta be brutal for the jury to have to smell her right next to them. Because I love Emily. But let's be honest, you're clean. You're finally clean again. And you have to have someone go right from the game without showering right next to you in the jury bench. Like, I can't imagine. I mean, I feel like I stink when I don't get a chance to shower right after coming back from the gym, and I have to wait like 10 minutes to like shower. I feel like I smell gross.
I mean, man, they've been in the game long enough. They get it.
Right. I was making a joke about it because I was like, yeah, that's gotta be brutal. Smell that.
Yeah.
The other tribals.
Yeah. Ew. Emily was bad. What? Like, smell the gameplay from here.
For Fuqua, I apologize for saying the name wrong. Fuqua says, I live in NYC. I smell bums on the. Oh, I don't know if that's the same. I mean, I don't know how if that's compared. I've never been to New York, so
No,
I
I can confirm.
But
I was in New York last March. Yeah. The answer to that is yes.
Yeah, the other tribal field was pretty straightforward. I really had no notes until like right before they went to vote, where I put down Ozzy, please play your idol, and I word for word in parentheses typed down, holy fuck, I never thought I'd ever type those words. What does the season come to? ...
Guys, Richie's an Ozzy fan. We did it. We've corrupted him.
Every politician has a spin, so I'm glad I was able to convince you, Richie.
Oh,
good job.
I can't.
Good job, Steib.
And I put down like this whole tribal felt like. Oh wait, no, I did have some notes before the vote off. Because I put down this feels like a goodbye tribal for Ozzy with old school music and the sound effects.
But he has an idol.
Yeah, but like it kind of had the vibe that like he wasn't gonna play it because he was so confident he was saying.
It's like I'm saying,
Jonathan
fucking needs it.
Jonathan,
you're fucking Billie Eilish boomerang.
Does Genevieve get it now?
Jonathan says something. Jonathan says something stupid, and I word for word put down. Jonathan, shut the up. I word for word typed that in all caps. So I don't know what Jonathan said, but
I'm glad you felt like frustrated enough to type the word "shut the fuck up." That's very helpful. Yes, and honestly, like, I'm so frustrated.
Wait, let me finish. I have a couple things. Sorry, let me finish. Sorry. I'm almost done. I only have like two more bullet points. Two quick bullet points. I put down good on Ozzy for saying he looks up to Jonathan, like great social work, pump up his ego and make him want to keep you around because like maybe that could change the vote in his favor. But Ozzy ultimately doesn't play his idol. He gets voted out with it in his pocket, and he has this whole moment. It almost reminds me of like Helene 45, where he's all like, "What?" Like not like he was a blind side. And I put down Ozzy.
It's the Ozzy of old. It's the Ozzy of old saying, "Oh my God, guys, I feel so betrayed. I thought I could trust you. Why, guys? Why me? Yeah. I'm Ozzy. Yeah. You know, I'm the jungle boy. I'm jungle man."
Well, the thing is that, and I forgot to mention this, beginning of this episode, because I did have this as one of the last two bullet points in this. I put down that he had a vision in his dream. It was a psychic vision of him saying he didn't play his idol. And Stephanie and Coach were like, you should have played your idol. And he didn't listen to it. Why?
He does this every time. Every single time.
Why?
There are three definite things in life. Taxes, death, and Ozzy not playing the idol when he needs to.
Why? Sorry.
It's always painful when somebody you love or somebody you might be like respecting or rooting for doesn't play an idol. And we've seen that happen in our own LRG, Survivor Wisconsin. Go check us out on Idol Identifiers if you haven't already. And you'll yeah, I've seen people go out like this, and it's just so frustrating because how can you possibly sit there with something like that and not allow yourself to make it and give yourself that guarantee? If you're in such an incredibly ridiculous season full of ridiculous twists, you got to do what you got to do to survive, people.
Here's the thing. You want to come closer. You have the vision from the psychics. You fucking listen to it. Why did he not play it? Like, I get he was so confident that he didn't think he was going home, but it's like, why? Sorry.
He really thought Aubrey was the one. He really thought he could trust Rizzo because he had been working with Rizzo for so long. But once Rizzo discovered everything that Aubrey was doing with Ozzy's information, it's even Rizzo was smart enough to realize, yeah, that's the sinking ship there. I got to hop off.
The RIZ.
Honestly, I'd like to take a moment. I'd like to take a moment to talk about Rizzo because I think Rizzo is honestly a very enamoring character these last two seasons. And I'd like to say he is a very skilled social competitor, and I do not want to detract from his game. However, I do believe that as much as we'd all love the game of Survivor to be down to skill and to like physical and social and all these strategies and all these things, the game of Survivor can often rely on luck too. And I genuinely believe Riz God is the luckiest player in Survivor history of recent history. Because for him to be able to finesse the entire dumbass cast of 49 into not forcing him to flush his idol then, and to get him all the way to 4th place and then to lose in fire making, that's absolutely ridiculous that he was able to get that far with that idol and not be flushed out or not be blindsided in the process, considering that was public information. And we're seeing the same thing play out here, admittedly differently, because this is Survivor 50. We are playing this game with a bunch of legends, and admittedly, there are 2 people, Rizzo included, who played on the very most recent season that nobody ever could have seen because it was under production and they could have never seen how he played or what he did or how he played or like how he was able to finesse everybody like this. And the fact that he was somehow able to do it again, admittedly, because, you know, you are on a returnee season, there are larger threats than you, and he is playing the under the radar social game, and it is respectable, but it is also lucky at the same time because he's not exactly getting everybody's respect either. He is becoming the Riz Rat. Thank you, Fuqua. Because admittedly, he's a pretty scrawny guy. He's, according to the castmates in like post-game interviews, he was pretty weak. He was pretty sickly. He wasn't contributing much to camp life. And he is a fairly younger Gen Z kid who is admittedly confident and maybe a little full of himself. And he likes playing that up for the camera. And so that's the kind of person that somebody might want to take to the end as a GOAT, who might end up not winning this game, who might end up catching some flack for being so boisterous. However, I got to say, Rizzo is playing a fantastic game, and he has played fantastic games, and I don't want to discredit him. However, I don't know if he's playing a $2 million game. Thank you.
I will say, I'll pass off to you in a second, Sam. The last bullet point I have is that this felt like a massive breakout episode for Aubrey. And I put down, like, please, God, no. Like, I thought the office when I typed that. Because I put down in parentheses that typically in most winners, I think in like every winner's edit, every winner has like a late game pre-finale episode to remind the viewers they exist unless they've been shoved down our throats, a la Wendell or Adam Klein or Tony winners that were like people. If there's some people who were like, they don't need that full on, like they have the breakout episode to remind us that they're a winner contender, but they don't have it in a way that like they have to remind us they're there. With some winners, they have to have this massive breakout episode to remind us they're there. Like Aubrey, I kind of felt like this was our breakout episode to remind us that Aubrey's there and has winner contention, which I'm like, good for Aubrey. Like,
yeah, well, that's easy for you to say because you've been shitting on Aubrey for like practically all of our reaction breakdown live stream.
You know what?
And as somebody, no, you're not going to interrupt me this time. As somebody who has been a supporter of Aubrey for quite a long time, it is good. It is a good thing to see Aubrey making these moves now because admittedly she has been playing the middle and she did need to start making a case here, and now might be the time.
I'm not saying Aubrey's a bad player. I'm not saying I would be disappointed if she wins. It would just feel unsatisfying for this season. Given all the advantages, how lucky she's gotten, and any other season, she would have been voted off pre-merge.
Look,
there certainly is a lot to be...
What?
And there certainly is a lot to be dissatisfied about this season. Sorry, Sam.
The producers fucked themselves. Like, they did this to themselves. And as the guy who has Aubrey in both drafts, I'm very happy.
Yeah, you stole her before I could get her. You did.
Aubrey always would have been a top pick for me. And I had the first pick, but I didn't even pick her. What the hell was I thinking?
Okay, so let's move on to episode 12. I actually did not get notes on episode 12 because I was watching this at a watch party in Chicago the other night. So I actually did not get notes. So people might need to refresh my memory on what happens before the challenge. Because I know
this was the fit that I wore. I had my actual glasses on. I was dressed as Christian. But like,
and I will say, I do have to go. I told y'all I'd leave around 3. I'm gonna dip out now before we get to the episode.
That's fair.
Before we go, I do want to say just a couple things real quick about this episode, which is, yeah, it's expected. I mean, players are gonna get out, and now it seems like a pretty clear cut who's winning the game, which I get you guys will have also talked to about as well.
Yeah.
Also, in addition to Wisconsin, check out Triangle Reality Games. I'm starting it up soon, hopefully. I am hoping to have my first season. Here's a little sneak peek of one of the puzzles from the season. Ooh.
Sam, hit me up later. I have a question to ask you about some stuff with that, so I'll hit you up after. I'll hit you.
But yeah, I do have to go.
Yeah,
this is fun.
Thanks for joining us, Sam.
I will see y'all. Peace out.
Yes,
okay,
peace.
thanks, Sam. I do want to say, he left before I could say it. If you look on Paramount, Tiffany's on. It says Survivor 50 new episode. Tiffany's on there for some reason.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
That's interesting. Actually, I just saw it now. I was going in there to try to get like a recap of the episode because I don't remember most.
Well, here we are at the penultimate episode of the game and or the season, and we're down to 7 players left. We have Rick Devens, Aubrey, Tiffany, Sari, Rizzo, Joe, and Richie's favorite, Jonathan. And this is a very interesting point because, typically, as of recent history, we've seen 5-person finales. So some of us were wondering, well, maybe they could do 6 this time.
Yeah.
And I think that could have been fun, admittedly. But as we see, considering who goes out 6th, maybe there's a reason we didn't end up getting that edit. So we'll get there when we get there.
I'm just watching parts of the episode right now while we're talking about it. It basically starts off with Aubrey and Jonathan talking. They're like, "Oh, I'm so glad we could come together for that vote. Like, maybe there's a way that we can work in the future." And it kind of feels like they're going to go all the way with each other. Devens is talking. Devin goes on the idol hunt. Sorry, you were gonna say.
Yeah, Devens is pulling his typical Devens stuff. He's searching like the entire island, under every rock, trying to find possibly something. But I really don't think there's actually anything out there. Like, I think they've hit their celebrity quota this season, and as fucking dumb as that sounds, I don't think there is anything that could save Rick Devens at this point, which is unfortunate because, he has been saved enough by some of these crazy things. And admittedly, he does still have a shot in the dark, and we'll get to that. But it's just unfortunate to see Rick Devens trying his best to do what he loves to do what he does best, to try to find something and pull something out of his ass. And unfortunately, he's not able to find much. And he is sitting towards the bottom right now, and that sucks.
Yeah, he tries to find idols. Jonathan's on his ass, and they literally call him like a bodyguard. And Devens basically starts crying at this point. Joe's trying to be nice to him about it at this point, but I'm kind of like, Joe, like, you've basically shown you don't like Devens the entire time. Now suddenly he's your best friend. Like, come on, Joe. Like, this is something Joe should
try to save face.
Well, it feels like it's more
it's the loin integrity that you love to talk about.
Loin integrity. Fucking no, because it feels like Joe was only trying to be nice to Devin parts of this episode because he knows he's finally about to get him out, and he wants to save face for the jury management. But it's like, if you're doing this at the last second, it's so obvious it's jury management. Like, I think that's really all he had before the challenge, the first challenge, because this is a double episode because they have like 2 rounds in this episode. The challenge is the one where they have to like spell letters, they hold up a rope, and they have, if the platform falls, whatever, the first one to spell out
you gotta walk forward and backward. Yep.
Yeah, all the tiles. I would suck at this challenge because I am not patient. Like, I think I would be trying to rush through it because I would just be so annoyed.
I've always loved this one, and I would love to do it.
I would like to do it maybe once, but I feel like I would get so angry doing this. I'd be like getting so mad. I'm trying to fast forward to see who wins this. I think it was Joe who won this one, right?
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, Joe wins his first one, and I remember we were all so upset because I think Devens almost won it, Tiffany almost won it, and then Joe wins it, and we're like, yeah, hooray.
Sari was doing pretty well, but then her stack fell.
Yeah, this fact that Sari came close to winning her first ever like individual immunity challenge, it would have been better if Sari won. Like, just
and you also, not only do you win immunity, but also there's a food reward of a barbecue feast. So that's
yes. And then it was Sari and Rizzo, correct?
Yeah. Because it seemed like they needed, well, according to Joe in the loin integrity viewpoint that he has, apparently Sari and Rizzo needed the food. And we're going to actually see some interesting camp dynamics in between this immunity challenge and tribal about how, well, actually, Rizzo did get a bunch of food at the auction portion of the game that we were talking about earlier. And he actually, according to some, he didn't end up eating the full amount of food. He might have potentially like given it up or like thrown it away, perhaps. And some of these people are pretty upset. As example of that, especially Jonathan, who said sitting there like, man, I would have loved those barbecue ribs, and I had to eat a damn sea slug, yada yada yada. So I don't know. This goes back to more of what we're saying about Joe. It's that he's really a hypocrite. He means well, but he's really a hypocrite, and he really can't see like what's actually going on in this game. And I'm realizing now he didn't exactly get that full concept in 48 either. So
okay, so you say Joe threw some of the food out, or Rizzo threw the food out?
No, Rizzo threw the food
okay, that's
out.
what I thought you said.
I'm saying Joe picking Rizzo when Rizzo
I get that now. Yeah, okay.
Recently.
No,
yeah,
I thought I misheard.
Might have actually benefited from that reward more. So it was very interesting choices for Joe.
I know the rewards are talking about Rizzo being like, oh, I wonder if I should play my idol. I don't know. It kind of feels like Devins is kind of obviously screwed in this tribal. I mean, is there really much to talk about that I'm not remembering? Because I feel like there's probably a lot to talk about.
It took a long time because Joe was moving in what I call Joe motion. Not even slow motion. Joe was moving incredibly slow. That felt like the longest challenge ever. But yeah, props to him for winning it.
Yeah, Aubrey's trying to work with Devins to get out Rizzo about the idol. Let me look. And then they're kind of worried about Rizzo's idol. Jonathan and Suri break the hammock. Actually, I can't make that joke. Actually, it does seem to be a decent back and forth between Rizzo and Devins because Rizzo feels comfortable. So that tribal, and Ozzy looks good on the jury. Sorry, I'm fast forwarding through the episode to like get to everything. He claims forgets that Rizzo and Suri were at the smiling a bit. I mean, is there really anything you want to talk about before tribal that I maybe forgot? Because I feel like you probably remember more.
Well, admittedly, when Rick Devins is sitting here vulnerable towards the late stage of the game, he falls into the category of perhaps somebody who might be unbeatable. And as somebody who has fallen into that category myself, I think you get to a point in the game where once you run out of luck and once you can't be safe anymore, there isn't anything you can do. And it does fucking suck. And we've seen that play out in our own LRG, and we've seen that play out in the game of Survivor. And it is unfortunate to see Rick Devins have really nothing he can do at this stage and just accept his fate. But he does have a very sweet moment in the tribal council, talking about the beautiful nighttime skies in Fiji and about the shooting stars that he sees and about how he's only seen them in Fiji. And he's incredibly reflective on the amazing times that he's had out there playing the game of Survivor. And it was a really sweet moment before the inevitable.
I mean, I feel like there really isn't much to talk about with tribal. I mean, everyone is kind of talking about how Devins is viewed as a threat. Devins has his moment, but it's just... I'm not even going to bury the lead. Devins goes home here. I mean, it's really nothing big to talk about with it. It just feels very obvious the entire time. He does play
captain, my captain.
Yeah, no, you ever see Futurama where they're take off your that taking off hat or whatever, and it was a sign of respect in Futurama where they have a hat just to take it off when they hear someone dies or has bad news, and they put on a hat only to take it off. That's literally what I feel like what we need right now. It was Devins goes out.
We do love Rick Devins.
We love Rick Devins. I'm really upset that this is how he goes. And it's shot in the dark. He tries to play it. It doesn't work. He's out. It pisses me off that a part Devins kind of gets screwed here. Again, he loses an ally in a stupid vote split thing. Where in most spots, I don't know if he would have. But
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it kind of is a double-edged sort of move because it is out of respect towards people like Rick Devens. Like, yeah, no, you have won challenges before. You are a social threat. You are so goddamn likable. Like, I have no chance against you towards the end. Like, part of that is out of respect, but part of that also just isn't fair to the people who have earned that respect. So, like, it is tough because it does make the most sense to bring people like Ghosts to the end of the game. However,
Yeah.
for somebody to win a game well, I genuinely believe they should be sitting at the end with people who also played well. And maybe it's just a matter of we did all play well, but I played the best.
Right.
That's how
And,
I
like,
would like to win the game,
well,
but that's
and-
just me.
And the big thing is too, like, I understand that when you get closer to the end, you're gonna get to that point where like all the big players are gonna have to start going out back to back to back to back when it gets closer to the end. But after this episode, it's like you get the final 6. It's like there's only really like 2 big names left, and even one of them's a question mark on if they're a big name considering their last outing. And it's like it's a very unsatisfying final 6. It's yeah. They go back to camp. I think people are talking about Rizzo not playing the idol, and Tiffany's like, "Oh, I knew he wasn't gonna play it." But then it's like, why didn't you take the shot and vote him off with the idol in his pocket? Then wouldn't that have been smarter? Like, Genevieve or Aubrey's wearing Genevieve's cut jacket and one of the talking on the beach scenes after Tribal, which I thought that was pretty interesting. That she still has Genevieve's jacket. Genevieve's missed. She's still technically on the season. Give her the idol, get her back in.
Shout out Genevieve. We lost her too soon as well.
If she needs another chance to come back. I heard the only way Genevieve is coming back is if it's Blood versus Water 3 because
we've heard about that and talked about that. Yeah, that would be cool though.
Jeffrey, make it happen. Make it happen, Jeffrey. Make it happen.
Richie, let's make this live stream happen. Let's keep it rolling.
I am keeping it rolling. I was about to keep going. Yeah, I think they're all talking about it. Then Aubrey's talking about how she thinks Tiffany could take the whole thing, and she's trying to talk to Jonathan and Joe and put the target on Tiffany, so which kind of then sets up the second half of the game, or second half of this episode, where Aubrey's trying to push the vote onto Tiff, which is very funny considering that like Tiffany was one of the, I think, the few people who sided with her so hard to start a game, and now Aubrey is now turning heel on Tiffany now, and yeah, and I think Jonathan's telling Rizzo that like about the idol thing, or that Tiffany wants to vote him out because Tiffany tries to vote with Rizzo. Rizzo and Suri talk. Yeah, it's basically going into a challenge. If Tiffany doesn't win, she's out. So then the challenge is basically they have to go through like a little tube, carry some block letters, I think, and then use those block letters in the arch puzzle to
inconceivable.
Yeah,
that's the word.
Inconceivable, yeah. And it's funny because people still don't know how to spell. Joe had a whole thing.
Maybe it was a thing where like it was like spelled right on the other side and the cameras weren't showing that. Because yeah, like they go like they're both Joe and Jonathan, spoilers, are like the first two to think they finished. And then like they back up and they're like, Jeff, and both of them absolutely misspelled the word inconceivable. And it's absolutely hilarious. Right. So I guess there was like potentially 2 sides to this puzzle. And it's like, yeah, you got to be extra careful with where you're putting these.
I know letters. That. I was going to talk about something completely different, actually, is what I was going to say. Because on Instagram, I think a few days after, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, Joe had this whole thing we were on Instagram, came out that he has dyslexia.
Oh, yeah, I did not hear about this.
Yeah, no. That's why I was about to mention it. Yeah, like you started talking about the puzzle. I'm like, no, that's not what I was going to talk about. But like, yeah, no, like Joe can't, like was coming. Like, and everyone, I saw this on a Reddit thing, and it said Joe comes out, and I'm like, the closet, and I clicked on a post and it didn't work. So then I went to Instagram, saw the post, and he's like, I have dyslexia, and I'm like, okay, that is not what I thought it was going to be. That Reddit post was very misleading.
Well, I'm sorry that Reddit post gave you false hope, Richard.
What do you mean false hope? You think I'm going to go hit on Joe?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to have a serious talk later. I'm joking. No, so basically, Tiffany ends up winning it, which is kind of the worst case scenario for everyone left, considering that Tiffany was a target.
Not for the fans. We love Tiffany. This is her third individual win, and she absolutely needed this, considering she wanted to like make a move and potentially smoke screen with Devins and try to get out somebody like Rizzo. Try to be smart, and like I said, going back to what I was saying, trying to take out the luckiest motherfucker ever and trying to get rid of Rizzo when he doesn't fucking expect it. So respect to Tiffany for that. Right. And yes, respect to her for winning this challenge, because admittedly, you would see Joe and Jonathan like get there first. They were struggling to figure out the word inconceivable to begin with before they could even start building it. And then you would have people show up in like later on, like Aubrey, try to help them like spell out the word and shit. So for Tiffany to win this, what was supposed to be an individual challenge, to win this challenge by herself on her own and to get it done despite everybody else kind of working together, I think that's beautiful. And it's her third win. Like you said before, she is close to that female record. So that's fantastic too.
I hope she wins Final 5 and gets a Final 4. Even if she leaves fire making, at least let her win Final 5 so she can get that record. As Astery says, this challenge proves it. You can't always beat him with these, but you can always beat him with this. So,
and this I'd also like to repeat what I've said in the last few breakdowns. Production dropped the ball with Tiffany's early pre-merge sort of game, but admittedly her tribes were relatively safe, so there wasn't too much to show other than the occasional forced Zach Brown appearance. But I digress. Tiffany's game has been absolutely respectable, and we'll talk more about it once we reveal who the sixth person or the sixth placer is. Yeah. And we'll talk about Tiffany's game when it comes to the final 5 and where she stands. But yes, this is a very good win for her. Congratulations, Tiffany.
Yes. We get back to camp. I am happy Tiffany won. We get back to camp. Immediately, Aubrey starts thinking more into what Tiffany said earlier, because obviously that plan's already out there. But then Rizzo, who's already been told by Jonathan now about what was going on, how Tiffany was targeting him, Aubrey wants to go for Rizzo. But guess what? Rizzo now decides, oh, I want to play my idol. So then she says there's only one logical move left because she wants to go. I think Aubrey's saying she really wants to work with Jonathan and Joe going forward. Probably because she recognizes that they pissed off half the jury. Anyways, so basically, she says there's only one logical option left. Suri. Basically, that Suri would win in a final 3 situation, and she starts to push the target onto Suri to Rizzo. And you see kind of Rizzo starting to struggle with this potential, because obviously with how close he had been the entire time. But I mean, even Rizzo is able to clearly see, like, hey, like if I go to him with Suri, like I'm screwed. Like, I mean, Suri's trying to get the vote off of her, and I think I even read online that at one point she gets the vote off of her, only for Rizzo to get the vote back on her. So like, Suri's, I think, trying to push the vote into Aubrey. I'm trying to remember what else is happening in the episode as I'm trying to like look into it.
I do have something that doesn't exactly apply to the gameplay of the season, but it will apply to the fans, because the fans are now allowed to vote the player of the season. They're bringing it back. Sia, you know, she actually was the original Celebrity Survivor endorser, if you think about it, because she has done this before, where she has provided prize money to like a fan favorite of previous seasons. So that's what they're doing again here. America is allowed to vote one time per, like, I'm guessing like phone or computer or whatever, for one person to win fan favorite. The winner gets $100,000 at the live reunion. That's incredible. Personally, I've already voted, and there are multiple people who are worthy of it. I would say I gave it to somebody who was admittedly very entertaining this season, who did get cut short, unfortunately, a little too soon. Admittedly, despite going far, I gave it to Rick Devins. I really think Rick Devins like played the same chaotic energy that I loved in Edge of Extinction, and for him to have that fake idol moment and this Mr. Beast twist, flipping the game on his head like that, I absolutely love Rick Devins. I had to give him my vote.
Can I just be honest and say, because with the fan vote too, I forgot to mention that, so it's good you mentioned that. Let's be honest. I think Suri or Ozzy are winning it. I mean,
It's probably going to be Suri.
Massive. Yeah, I assume it's going to be Suri. They're such massive fan favorites for all the casuals. I'd just be shocked if they didn't win. I'm pretty sure she won the fan favorite award her first season. So it's like, I don't know. We get the tribal, and because again, before tribal, it's basically like Aubrey wants Rizzo. Rizzo says, "I'm going to play my idol." Suri. Then she puts it for Suri, and Suri pushes for Aubrey. Yeah, it's basically like Aubrey or Suri going into tribal, which is just really, yeah. I'm trying to see if
it is tough or not. You're comparing apples to oranges here. Admittedly, Suri and Aubrey are two people that I certainly wouldn't want to sit next to at the final three regardless. And, it's a matter of, okay, what chance do we take here? Who are we going to take out here at sixth place? And who is potentially going to hang in this game and potentially cost me the game later? That's the risk we're going to have to take. Because, like I said, you have to be able to take risks in life and in the game of Survivor. At least the right kind of risks.
Rizzo takes the right kind of risk by not playing his idol. After saying all day he's going to play it and gets a target off his back, and he doesn't even get rid of his idol. So he's obviously going to play that final five regardless of what happens. But the thing is a jury going to respect it? I don't know. But
yep.
Suri goes home, and it's just very unsatisfying to see. It's just very unsatisfying to see Suri go home at this point in time, because it's just like
Survivor 50 is a farce, and our lives are rageful.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm pissed about. I know Alex isn't the biggest Suri fan, but it's just so unsatisfying to see Suri go out this way, and it's just. I'm just angry about it. Suri shouldn't.
I was sat there in the front row of the Survivor watch party in Chicago on that night, and I could not believe my eyes. I said, there is no way. I genuinely believed that Suri was going to go all the way and win this game. So I'm absolutely, admittedly, I'm absolutely glad that I was wrong because, considering all the leaked information that came out about 49, I want all this information to be wrong, and I want us to be surprised, and I want us to not know what's coming. So I thought Suri was going to go ahead and win the whole game. So for this to happen and for everyone to finally realize, no, now is the time. We got to get Suri out. It is bittersweet for her, of course, because she is beloved by a lot of Survivor fans. And it is what it is. Like I said, this is similar to Rick Devens getting voted out. You just can't beat these people at the end, or at least these people are not confident in the games that they've played, that they're willing to beat these people. And that just goes to show how shallow some of these people are when playing the game of Survivor. But I digress.
I just want to say, why couldn't you just be right? Why couldn't you be right about Suri? Why couldn't you go to the end and just get her win? But it's because Suri says that she's retired now. Why couldn't we retire her off or at least getting the final tribal? Like, at least if she loses final tribal.
Suri has earned retirement. And yes, she absolutely will probably go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, to not win.
Yeah.
And she has won, spoilers, she has won the first season of Traitors. Go watch that show on Peacock. It's pretty good. I've only seen the first season, but I got to say, like, that first season was really good, and I got to watch the rest, of course, and I will. But Suri is probably going to continue to be seen on these kind of shows, and you'll probably still see her, like, wherever she decides to pop up. And, she has earned her retirement. And she did get off the couch, and she did make a lasting impact in a lot of people's lives. So, yeah, shout out to her. She's a queen.
I love Suri. Queen Suri. I'm disappointed this season. But I think that's kind of generally it for the episodes, unless we forgot something that you want to talk about for this episode. Like anything that happened in this episode that I forgot?
Should we briefly talk about rankings of the final five and who's got the strongest case to win?
Yeah, actually, because that goes into my next thing with general thoughts on finale. Yeah, so we'll go with finale predictions and then general thoughts, and then we'll go with our questions. Finale predictions, I kind of feel like it's very obvious what's about that. I think they set the dynamics so hard that I don't think anything's changing. I think Tiffany's going to go out. She's just going to narrowly lose the final five challenge. Tiffany goes out. Rizzo's going to get put in the fire somehow. and he's going to lose again to Fire. Joe's going to get third place, I feel like, because he pissed off too many people and acted like a baby. And I think a lot of the people who saw him on pre-swap Sela at the beginning of the game are going to be like, hey, guess what? Joe's just a big baby, and you all saw this. This is how he's been the entire game. Jonathan is probably going to get flack from people like D and Tiffany for how he was acting at the start of the merge and claiming he was trying to like poke people, like poke the bear to get all people pissed off. Aubrey's going to win because she's going to get credit for the Suri and Suri moves.
Yep. Yeah, that's a fair analysis. And I'll have pretty similar because, this falls into the category of, okay, well, now that this person's gone, we need a new unbeatable. And Aubrey has fallen into that category. Now that she's in this final 5, she is the new unbeatable. And if she can't manage to stay safe in the next round, she might very well be cooked. She could get taken out like somebody like Suri or Devins or Ozzy, because they are just too good. And they are going to have a strong case of the game. I definitely would say Aubrey has the strongest case to win this game out of the 5 remaining people. I would say Tiffany has the second strongest because she has the 3 immunity wins, and she has been able to hang out and pull out the clutch win when she has needed to, especially in that last episode.
The big
if
thing,
it's not going to be,
Sorry, I was going to say the big thing too with Tiffany, and I just remember this because someone said this online last night, and I honestly agreed with it, that they had the potential to put Tiffany and Kelly Wentworth light for this season to give her a second chance story of her finally getting to play the game, getting to play longer, like having a lot more time in the game, becoming this underdog, scrappy underdog out of nowhere. But they just purpled her the entire season. Like,
absolutely.
So
now to finish what I'm saying, if it's not going to be Aubrey, and if it's really not going to be Tiffany, who's like a fair second, this is going to be disappointing to a lot of Survivor fans. And going back to what I said earlier, no disrespect to Rizzo, he is an incredible social guy, and he might be able, if he were to get to final 3, to like talk in the right way, to like say, no, I did play a good game. Here's where I played good. Here's where I got people out. Here's my alliances that I've had forever. And I'm the last one standing of those alliances. So therefore, I obviously wasn't the biggest threat ever. That's good on my game for staying low to the radar. Rizzo could absolutely explain it in the right mood and with the right questions how he has played a $2 million game. I personally do not believe he has. And I believe he's played the weakest of that original Suri's Wizard of Oz trio. And for him to be able to sit at the end, having voted for both Ozzy and Suri to get out of the game, I don't know if they're going to exactly honor that alliance at the end by giving them by giving him jury votes. And then that leaves the other 2 of Joe and Jonathan, who I think are pretty interchangeable. I would personally, of course, because he's on my team, I would love for Jonathan to somehow pull something out of his ass. I do not believe he's going to win. I think second place is a fair slot. I don't know. There is a chance he could get taken out before that final as well.
Please, Jonathan, go home.
Please, no. Get to final. I need negative points. No, but I digress.
Points?
If you get third place or higher, we'll get negative points.
Oh, on your guys' because Steib is in a different draft that I'm not in.
Yeah.
I think that
that one's only 8 people, and we capped out. Yeah.
Oh, the Jimmy one. Yeah, no, because I wasn't sure I should do it because I thought I had a lot of spoilers, but it turns out like 90% of them up to this point were wrong. So I regret not joining it.
It was tough because some of those spoilers ended up being correct because I did end up seeing some of those myself. Because there was like a point before I had even seen the first episode, and I did look up stuff because all my friends that I've been hanging out with, watching these shows at these watch parties and in the Survivor group that we're in, that some of them look up the insider information and some of them let me know about Survivor 49. And oh my God, like Savannah and Rizzo are coming back for the next 50th season. So they must do pretty well. One of them must win, yada, yada, and all of this other insider information nonsense. So that's why I looked up stuff for Survivor 50. I looked up information for Survivor 50 because Survivor 49 was kind of spoiled to me. And I did see some of these spoilers, and some of them were true because there was parts about Kyle getting medevaced. And once I saw him go down in that first episode, I was like, yep, that's it. Kyle's out. He's going to get taken out of the game, and that's a very sucky way for him to go. I knew that Mike White would be a pretty early, like, pre-merge boot. I could not see him going far. He's just going to be too likable. People are going to want to get him out before he before Ozzy works his way onto the White Lotus, like, so yeah, like not every spoiler is correct. And honestly, that's okay too.
I wanted the spoilers of Chrissy going further though. That's at least one spoiler I wish would have been true of Chrissy going to like at least single digits. Chrissy should have gotten more content this season. I think we can all agree with that. Chrissy should have gotten more content. But no, the editors just did not like the woman this season for some reason. Is there anything else you want to say with our general thoughts, our finale predictions before we go on to the questions?
No, I do think overall it's a season that we'll be able to look back at and pick out the moments and find the joy, as Colby would say, find the joy in Survivor 50. And we'll be able to hopefully look back on this and realize how much better the game has grown in another 50 seasons when both Richie and I are on it and we're both like 60 years old.
Yes. 50 for me. Maybe I'll do like a general thing like this next week. It's not going to age well. I feel like this season might age worse than Game Changers, to be honest, because I feel like a lot of people are not going to like these over the top twists and advantages. But let's go on to some of our questions. We do have a lot of great questions from Fuqua. Again, sorry if I'm saying the name wrong. Thank you for the questions. First question, would you like a masked Survivor player next season? Like the Masked Singer? Like where it's
potentially like a whole season up where it's like people are masked. That's an interesting idea.
That's an interesting idea. Not fully knowing who is who, I guess, could be interesting. But I feel like it would probably like the audience wouldn't know who is who unless they knew who is who. But
maybe the audience like could find out in confessionals, like, oh, this person is actually this person, and I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's a neat concept for a returnee season.
That is an interesting thought process. That's an interesting, yeah. Should they bring back eating hissing roaches and durian food challenges? When did they eat durians?
Probably a long time ago. But yeah, I'm all about eating competitions, especially like the weirder the food, the better. So no sea slugs though.
I love the gross food challenges. They should do that more often. Should they do another All-Star season next year? Yes.
No.
Yes.
Too soon.
No, it's not too soon. They need to do another one because of how many people they pissed off with
that's a fair take. But no, like you need to give this time to cool off. And I think what they're gonna do, they're probably gonna keep at least 52 and 53 new player only. I think there is a chance for 53 to be a returnee or a half returnee season or some crazy twist like that. I think they are due for a returnee season, like you're saying. I don't think it's 2027. That's just me. Maybe they will film it in 27, but then air it later. I don't know.
Well, you did hear the recent interview Jeff Probst did, right? Where he had a thing saying that, for those of you who don't know, the current time of airing this is a few days after episode 12 of Survivor 50 is aired out. And Jeff Probst recently had an interview, I think it was a day or two after 50, where he said the next returning season might be sooner than we think. And then he went on a tangent about being anti-villains on Survivor, not realizing that
I did hear that quote.
Well, okay, he doesn't realize one of the best new era seasons of Survivor they ever had. A lot of villains. So, but yes, I think they should do another all. I heard there's a potential. People keep saying in the grapevine that Blood versus Water is a possibility, which I would love that. I mean, I think a half and half seasons, like we haven't had one of those, I think, since the original Blood versus Water. So it's like, it's been like well over 20 seasons up to that point. So like, that'd be great. Next question. Should people be allowed to cuddle on the show again?
When applicable, maybe.
I was gonna say,
like I think there's a fair sense of, well, no, like I actually am cold. Like, do you want to like, I don't know, keep each other warm? I think you can do that platonically. I don't think, I understand, you know, if you go back and watch Survivor China, which I just did, you would see people like Jean Robert getting too friendly with the girls. And they certainly didn't like that at that time, nor should any woman like that at any time. And, you know, they definitely want to take those precautions. From what I've heard, they actually sleep with dividers in between them so that they can't touch each other. And that's fair too, you know, because not everybody wants to have that. And people do want to have their own space. It is interesting to see how the game has developed in those social dynamics like that. But yeah, like there are instances of showmances too. So I don't know.
I think if it's consensual, like they both agree we should cuddle and nothing bad happens as a result, I say yes if it's consensual and nothing weird happens. And I said it with a big asterisk because even then I could easily kind of be like, ugh. But I say if it's consensual and they both want to cuddle, if they both consent to it, then yes. What celebrity guest would you like to see play on the show? I want ultra marathon runner David Goggins on the show. I don't think I've ever heard of David Goggins.
Well, now I want Billie Eilish to play the game just so that she can suffer and get hit with like 18 different fuck ass twists. Yes. I think that would be hilarious. No, who do you think?
I'm trying to think. I know, actually, I will say Neil Patrick Harris, because I heard like over, like it was 10, 15 years ago, he had an interview saying that he wanted to actually go out and play Survivor. And so it's like, he's actually a fan, or at least from my knowledge, he's a fan who wants to actually go out and play Survivor. Let him play Survivor. Like, come on. Like, who, like, I mean, I want someone who actually wants to play. And if Neil Patrick Harris still wants to play, get him on a damn island. Like, have a celebrity season. Maybe have a celebrity season. Like, you know, they did that in Australian Survivor. And this is not in the modern Australian Survivor. This is the Australian Survivor that they did in like the 2000s. They had a celebrity season. I think they had it where like they each got like a stipend to appear on. But they also had like a charity they were all playing for. Granted, that season was formatted horribly. But even then, like they had 2 seasons called Champions versus Contenders, where the champions were essentially in the modern Australian Survivor. They have Champions versus Contenders. They did it twice. It's basically like multiple seasons where they get a group of celebrities versus a group of like regular people. Like it was really interesting. So I would definitely see Neil Patrick Harris for mine. Pick one. We will no longer see Suri or Oscar on the show in the future. Ozzy.
It's definitely more likely that we will not see Suri, although we could see Suri come back in a non-playing role. I think Ozzy says in post-game interviews, they probably wouldn't call me back for a 6th time, but he, you know, just like many other people, he's like, never say never. I would say it's probably more likely to see Ozzy again, but I don't know. It could go either way.
Oh, I thought we had to pick one that we prefer. Because I was about to say, as much as
I don't know if I'd prefer. I'd prefer to see both of them. Hello, like
right? No, me too. But like, if I had to pick one to come back, I would say I want Suri to come back. But it's just
okay.
I want Suri.
I'd put Ozzy back in, but I'd make sure to like be there with him and to make sure like, hey, dumbass, play your idol.
That'd be funny. Like put him another captain season with Rizzo.
I gotta meet Oscar one day. I probably will.
Should they do a Survivor all YouTube influencer season, and would you play? I don't know if I have the stats to be considered an influencer, but if I was asked, hell yeah, I would play. I'd look at Jeff. I'd look at Jeff and being like, I bitch about Survivor all the time. Now it's time for me to put up or shut up. Put me in, coach. That's how I would literally say it. I actually might apply for Survivor in the next couple days. I'm debating it.
Survivor LRG players only. That would be incredible.
That would be actually. I can't make that joke. But yeah. What about you, Steib?
Have you ever played an LRG? If not, you should.
I think that's the last question. Do you have anything you want to say to this one, Steib?
No, I certainly support that idea. Anything to get us opportunities to win $1 million. Yes, please.
Yes, anything to get money, because I definitely would love to get money.
We're all about money.
Right. So, that's it. Questions are closed. Thank everyone for watching. We do have a couple just housekeeping announcements and shameless plugs. Survivor Wisconsin, go check that out. Idol Identifiers. Midwestern Survivors, go check out Midwestern Survivors. Challenge Wisconsin, we are airing episode 6, our penultimate episode of season 2. Go follow us on Instagram at Challenge Wisco. I hosted it. Super fun game. At Challenge Wisco has the episode tonight, and our finale is going to be out next week, Saturday. So stay tuned tonight at 5 for the Challenge Wisconsin penultimate episode of the season with an elimination, that teaser, an elimination challenge, I would say is the funniest elimination challenge of any challenge thing I've ever seen, ever. LRGs are super fun games. I am also hosting a new LRG called Queer Survivor Midwest. If you end up wanting to play, go look up Queer Survivor Midwest on Instagram. Then go apply through the link in the bio. It is an application link. It's going to be a fun game for the LGBTQ plus community to play Survivor game. And it's going to be taking place in southeastern Wisconsin. Challenge Wisconsin is also casting for season 3. It's going to be in East Troy, Wisconsin. Same location as season 2. Great location. You want to play Challenge Wisconsin? Super fun LRG game? Go apply for that. Go follow Challenge Wisco and go to the link in the bio. Or go over to the YouTube channel and go to one of our episodes and get the link from there. Now, also go watch Gibbs games. Welcome to Gibbs games, baby. Shout out Jamil. Next week we will be having our finale breakdown. We are going to be getting a big panel of a lot of our friends. We're going to get a lot of people who you may have seen as like one-time guest appearances in the past to come on, have a big talk. We're going to hopefully try to get Sam, Joey, and Devin on. I'm going to try to get Alex on. I don't know when we're going to do it, but we're definitely going to try to do it. It might depend on the day for certain people, but we are going to try to get a bigger panel of people for this next episode if we're able to. So stay tuned for that. With that in mind, Steib, you have anything you want to say before I close it out?
Yeah, I'll plug some stuff myself. You can find me on Instagram at STEIB67. That's at Steib67 on Instagram. I that was a 67 before the 67 meme began. So I just like to say I've always been ahead of the curve. So that's just me. You can find me on a few different other channels. You can find me on the Challenge Wisconsin, like Richie has mentioned. They got an episode airing tonight. It's their penultimate episode. Be sure to tune in for that. It's a very fun season. Admittedly, I was supposed to be on the production team, but I actually fell ill that weekend. So I had to back out of it on the day of. So I actually don't know what happened in the season and the results of it. And I have been enjoying watching it this whole time. And Richie loves pointing out that I don't know anything. So that's incredible. Richie doesn't have much information over me, so he's going to take what he can get. But I digress. Anyways, you can also this is my time, and you're not interrupting me. You can also find me on Idol Identifiers on Instagram and YouTube, because that's obviously, as we mentioned, that's where this whole series of nonsense started 6-ish years ago at Survivor Whitewater, which turned into Survivor Wisconsin. We're up to 20 seasons now, and now we've got our 21st season, which is actually set to record in 2 weeks. So yes, go follow Challenge Wisco. Thank you, Richie, on Instagram. Yeah. Go follow Idol Identifiers on Instagram, as well as YouTube, of course. And then there's also one more I'd like to throw out. I'd like to throw out at Survivor the Ledger, because I got on the production team recently. That's going to be a 30-person LRG that's going to set to film next month. And it's looking absolutely ridiculous, knowing what I know and knowing the people in this game. And I'm absolutely stoked to see that game play out. And I can't wait to see that eventually on social media. So yeah, go follow at Survivor the Ledger. And also at the _Midwestern_survivors. That is also another LRG with a lot of people that we know.
I was like,
that is also coming out.
No, wait.
There's a lot of people that we know in Midwestern, and that LRG is also slowly coming out. So we're excited to see that one too. Right. There's a lot of LRGs out there. In Fuqua, you got to get yourself involved with them. If you're not going to get yourself involved with them, if you're more into like trolling online, as you say, you could actually try an ORG and like play a game on Discord with
That's why-
us or
that's-
like with the community. So
Gibbs Games. That's a lot of what they
Yeah.
do are like orgies. So
yeah,
Um,
and that thank you for relaying that. Yeah, Gibbs Games is very well known for that with Blood on the Clock Tower and all that stuff. So
Zoom traders.
no, that's practically all we got. Otherwise, in a world full of lies and deceit, just try to spread love and truth and joy in all that you do. That's my message to all of you. So
I will say, Zoom Traders is primarily what Gibbs Games is known for right now. They are having a celebrity season today. The guy that won my season, Miles, is on it right now. So go catch him. Tell him I sent you there. And yeah.
You know what I also just remembered? Gibbs Games is probably live right now. They're doing a
They
live
are.
stream for charity.
That's
We
what I
should
just
probably
said.
go check that out.
I know, I just said that.
Yeah, I should probably go set
Okay.
aside some money and donate. Hell yeah.
Okay, so with that in mind, we will be back next week with the finale. Thank you everyone so much for watching. We cannot wait to see you next week. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for watching.